Hello, and welcome back to Doomed. Solo playthroughs through Arkham Horror, the card game with a focus on roleplay and storytelling. I'm very excited because today on Doomed, it's something new. Because that's the thing, every so often we have to examine a new adventure within this universe. See what kind of investigators we can find in Arkham, what kind of adventures they get up to, what kind of madness they have to endure in order to get to the truth, or survive, depending on what their goals are. Very good, Flower. I'm not really sure about whenever you mention frost tokens or winter, because I feel like that's going to be a lot. Although, yeah. So shiny. I know. You'll notice over my shoulder here, we've got a woman walking through the streets of London, and a man with red gloves. Oh, Flower knows what's up. Flower knows that it's going to be Charlie Kane, and that's going to be a big problem. Welcome to Doomed, everyone. I'm very happy to have you all here. Today, we are beginning a brand new campaign with a new, to me, investigator. Charlie Kane through the Scarlet Keys. Now, as you are all generally aware, I play quite a bit of Arkham Horror, the card game, so I am generally familiar with the campaigns, some more than others. And this one in particular, I do not know very well at all, which is kind of exciting to me, because how do you know if you're doing a good job? You just let the roleplay guide you. Because it is a new campaign, I want to get right into it because we have to introduce Charlie, we have to introduce what he's all about, we have to do the drawing of the weaknesses, and then figure out what kinds of roleplay decisions we might make. As I've mentioned before, as I've mentioned before on the Discord, if you're not on the Discord, go and check it out there. That's where I post all my information about my upcoming streams. This campaign is heavy on the globe trotting. We will be going around the entire world, and there will be choices to be made about where to go. That first choice, may not occur today on stream. I might posit that these things happen between streams. If you're watching this on the VOD and you're not on the Discord, leave a comment on this video, and I'll be super happy to take it into account when I decide where Charlie Kane will go in the future. That is to say, if he survives at all. I think we should get to it. Does anyone have any questions or concerns before we do? My other thought, of course, it is a card game. We're doing a focus on roleplay and on storytelling through the mechanics of the card game itself. If you have questions about the rules, as always, feel free to ask. I consider myself relatively knowledgeable about the game. I play for fun. I don't play to ace every scenario all the time, especially because I don't even know this campaign very well. So, there you go. I think we should get to it. This is the world, baby. That's right. Constituents all over the world. I know. That's the thing, Flower. He's like the mayor of Arkham, Massachusetts. Not even a big town. We'll have to see why and how he's gotten himself involved overseas. We're going to start today with the first scenario of the campaign, Riddles and Rain, which is set in London in the United Kingdom. But of course, before that, we need to introduce our investigator for the campaign, Mr. Charlie Kane, the politician. Now, I am a little surprised. I thought we'd have a crosshair here, but that's okay. I will do my best to kind of sum up and get a sense of what's going on here. Charlie Kane, the politician, is a civic socialite. So, okay, here's the thing. He's got 1 in all his stats. He's got 6 health and 6 sanity, which is very low, and he's got the most ridiculous hair I've ever seen. Only because he has very thick eyebrows, very thin hair, and his hair's very poofy at the back, which is, I think, hilarious. So how do we make up for this awful stat line, terrible stats, and wild hair? Charlie Kane has 3 additional ally slots, so by default, he can put into play up to 4 allies at once. He's a politician, after all. Free trigger. Oh, sorry. It can be arranged. It's just a matter of acceptable terms. Exactly. He doesn't need nothing but a fancy cigar. Sometimes a cigar, just a cigar. Other times, it's his own power. Free trigger. During a skill test you are performing, exhaust an ally asset that you control. For this test, you get +1 skill value, +1 for each skill icon on that ally that matches the test's type. Oh, hello, Crosshair. Welcome to Doomed. Wonderful to have you with us. I'm just introducing our intrepid investigator for this campaign, Charlie Kane, the politician. I'll give you a quick sum up, because the mechanical effect, it's going to make sense once we see it and play a bit, but it is a bit funky. He's got 1 in all his stats, 6 health, 6 sanity. Ridiculous. Oh, you've got it already. Okay, fine. Yeah, cool. But yeah, basically, let's say I had an ally on the board who had an intellect icon on the card. During a skill test I was performing, I could exhaust that ally to get +1 and +1 intellect, because it has 1 intellect icon. So that would take me up to 3 book, which is like average. So, you know, that's the thing. His Elder Sign is awesome. +3, ready an ally asset at your location. Charlie's also got funky deck building, which I will talk about momentarily, but let's have a quick look at this. Charlie Kane promised the people of Arkham a safer future. He made a lot of promises. Lower taxes, better schools, less crime. It was part of the job after all, empty promises. And although he sometimes had to do things he wasn't proud of, Charlie always did work for the greater good. The greater good. So when he started hearing the reports, he put the people first. Of course, he couldn't tell anyone. Widespread panic would not serve the public good. Besides, who'd believe him? Still, Charlie always had connections in town. So he made a few calls, put a task force together, and went to work. Love that for him. Charlie can take allies up to level 5, but he can only take level 0 to 2 cards from his 2 chosen classes. So at deck creation, you can choose 2 classes, and then he's any of those 2. Ah, perfect. Okay. Yeah, so 2 of the same token, Crosshair, then practice makes perfect, and then someone dies. Those are our first 4 tokens. Boom. I have chosen for Charlie Kane today, Guardian and Rogue. Exactly, Flower. We don't like it, but this is how politics works, apparently, in 1920s Arkham, Massachusetts. I've decided to choose, for role-playing purposes, Guardian and Rogue, to reflect the 2 different sides of Charlie Kane. Guardian, because he takes his duty to others very seriously and longs to protect the people of the town of Arkham. And Rogue, because of his selfish tendencies. He has connections that are perhaps a little criminal in nature, a little underhanded. But he's got access to people from all walks of life. Hello, Roger Twy. Welcome to Doomed. Wonderful to have you with us. Okay, so a plus, a minus, a success, and death. Shuffle that up. So that's our Charlie Kane. So Charlie Kane is going to need some folks to hang out with him. Otherwise, he does not do very well on his own. But once he's got enough folks going around town with him, he should be able to accomplish pretty much everything he needs. That's the hope, anyway. We'll have to see how it goes. So, before... Kane enable, that's what this is. That's a very good Crosshair. Very good. I liked it. Should I read the intro first? I think so. The trouble, Flower, and I'm hoping it doesn't come back to bite me in the butt, is that he needs to set up. You can't do anything without allies, right? So, like, I mean, you could, I guess, make money and use rogue events or something. I don't know, whatever. You could do stuff, but, like, you know what I mean? And if the scenario is screwing you over from turn 1, you don't have time to set up, and then you're in big trouble. Charlie Kane is a little squishy, this politician. Well, Crosshair, that wouldn't surprise me at all. Oh, Flower, I swear to God. If true, let's... Oh, okay. Mechanics. Yeah, we'll do mechanics, then we'll do the weakness, then we'll do the intro. Yeah, okay, because there's a lot going on. The Scarlet Keys introduces a bunch of new shit, too. Very confusing. I love it. For now, I will describe en bref 2 things. Stay out of Antarctica, Mr. Kane. We don't want you on this southern continent. Right, exactly, Crosshair. No big deal. 2 things to note before we start. New kind of keywords / types. There's a bunch of shit here in the campaign guide. You can see how much is happening here. I'll give us the Coles notes, the Sparks notes, whatever. Hey, Frost tokens. Okay, so In this campaign, there will be artifacts called keys. Very briefly, keys come into play attached to their bearer. So if you're the bearer, they come into play when you do. And if it's an enemy, it comes into play with them. They have a stable and an Crosshair, great question. I think they're specific to the Scarlet Keys. I doubt we'd see this in non-Scarlet Keys stuff, but good point, and I'm not sure. The keys have a stable and an unstable side. On the stable side, you can do something positive to them, then you flip them to their unstable side. On their unstable side, you do something bad, and you flip them back to their stable side. It's pretty much that. So there's a good effect, then it goes to the bad side, then there's a bad effect, and you can bring it back to the good side. Enemies start on the bad side, obviously, and good players, us, start on the good side. Correct. Yes. Oh, sorry, yeah. Sorry, Crosshair. I understand. Yes, this is the newest campaign that is out, which means this is the last solo Doom campaign for I don't know how long, which is kind of fun. But we'll see, it might take forever. There's also a new keyword that is featured on enemies in this campaign. This one's way more confusing, but again, I'm going to try to pare it down as best I can so that we're all on the same page so that we can just stick to the roleplay and the storytelling. Concealed X. Concealed enemies represent hidden enemies whose true location is a mystery until the investigators work to expose where, and in some cases, who, they truly are. I think this probably works best with an example. I'll just read the example. Amina draws Coterie Agent A, which has Concealed 2. So the card, the enemy says Concealed 2. The Coterie Agent, the enemy, is spawned somewhere in the shadows, which is like not in play, but it's above the agenda in the act. So it's just, they exist, but you don't know where they are. Then she takes the set aside mini card for the Coterie Agent, along with 2 decoys, shuffles them together, and distributes them evenly amongst the locations nearest to her. I'll give us a little example of what that might look like. So here's some concealed cards and some decoys. Oh, gasp! Clues! Cluedos! Cluedos nuts. I'll work on it. Let's say I drew an enemy that had Concealed 2. This one, and then 2 decoys. But you can see they say the same thing on each side. So when I shuffle them together and distribute them, I won't know which is the real one. Right? And which one is the enemy and which ones are the decoys. So the idea being, you know that someone's after you, but you don't know where they are. You're trying to work to figure them out. Cluedo! How then can you figure out where that enemy is if you need to? Well, so there's a bunch of special rules surrounding them, but you can't fight them like they're regular enemies, right? Because you don't know where they are. You might end up just beating up some random person. Grenades. Concealed mini-cards represent the possible location of enemies in the shadows. So, you have to discover where the mini-card representing that enemy is, and not the decoys, right? You can do this in one of 3 methods: fight, invade, or investigate. Basically, if you're at a location with a concealed mini-card, you can fight, evade, or investigate using the shroud value of your location for all 3 of those things. You can also automatically discover a clue, deal damage to an enemy, or evade. Automatically evade. So, like, for example, Crosshair, yeah, grenades, I think, do automatic damage. So it would expose a mini card at the location that you use them at. Invade! You cannot, however, expose multiple mini cards at once, which is super annoying. And doing the thing to expose the mini card, so again, let's say, I want to figure out if this is a decoy at my location. I'm going to investigate my location. Oh, I succeed. Great. I expose this mini card. I don't also get a clue. It's one or the other. So if you're trying to figure out if the enemy is the enemy, you have to, you're focused on it and you're dedicated to it. If the mini card that you flip over is a decoy, nothing happens. It just gets set aside. If it is the enemy, well, then the enemy is spawned with you, engaged with you, as it normally would. Surprise, you found them! Bah! So, that's essentially how that works. I hope that all kind of makes sense. There's lots of examples, but I think we'll just see it in play and it'll make more sense. Okay, lots going on. Really cool mechanic. I think it really highlights the fact that this campaign is all about, not so much, there'll be spooky stuff, but I think it's more about, like, you know, cloak and dagger spy shit. Why am I not playing a spy, you might be asking yourself. Great question. Ah, yes, Flower, for sure. Which we will see. Well, so I'll give you some examples right off the bat, Flower, that I can think of. 1, your objective might be find the enemy, right? 2, every time you, every turn you don't expose the enemy, they add doom. They attack you from the shadows. Shit like that, right? Like, exactly, Roger Twy. He's so deep undercover, he's been mayor for years. Oh, damn! Yikes, Crosshair, that sounds scary. How do you know which one's the real one? Just out of curiosity. In the meantime, I will display to you all the drawing of the week. You hit them, obviously. What else would you do? The drawing of the weaknesses. These are all the weaknesses I've pulled in solo. These are all the weaknesses Crosshair and I have pulled in campaigns. I really hope so, Flower. I really hope so. These are all of the weaknesses that remain that are not ones that he can't take, basically. The Mancharlian candidate! Pound for pound, Roger Twy. The wit is on fire. All right. That's an awful lot of weaknesses still remaining. Bum, leg, bum, leg, bum, leg. Okay. I'm going to draw 3 and choose 1. Based on what we know about Charlie, Kane, the politician, the guardian / rogue, the upfront stalwart defender of the people, and the, sorry, oh no, it's an umbrella up there. Okay, I see. So the stalwart defender of the people and the slightly underworld market kind of guy. Maybe we'll see. Philanthropist. Well, okay. Let's have a look. The 13th Vision. I feel like we've seen some of these in the game before, but... Oh, sorry, yes. So on my green screen, Flower, that's part of the art of the card behind me, is a big umbrella, but it looked like a dark spot on my green screen, and I was concerned for a second. The 13th Vision is an omen. I don't know if Charlie Kane is seeing visions in this way, but we'll see. It's not so bad. Silver Twilight Acolyte is a basic weakness. You'll never forget the day you learned the true secrets of the Silver Twilight Lodge's inner circle. The truth, is too terrible for the Lodge to let you live. It preys on the bearer. And Obsessive. Obsessive, of course, is, well, I mean, everyone knows what that means. It means to obsess over something. Discard a non-weakness card at random from your hand when your turn begins. Ugh, double action discard. So here's the thing. One of these feels a lot more thematic, but it also is going to absolutely ruin me in this campaign. Like, excuse me, I can tell you right away. I'm letting people in the chat weigh in before I do anything else because it feels... Yeah, okay. Phew. Because let me tell you, here's the thing. This Silver Twilight Acolyte feels pretty thematic to me too, but like a 2/3/3 basic weakness enemy that hits for a damage and a doom, like it will destroy Charlie. I'm not saying I shouldn't take it, but I am saying I'm taking Obsessive. Okay. Why would Charlie be obsessing? He's obsessing over the issues that, yes, oh, for sure. Cigarettes! Of course, Roger Twy. Flower! Huh. You're not taking the one that gives you frost tokens. You don't sound like that, Flower, I know. Sometimes a cigar is just a cigar. Other times, Sigmund Freud has to obsess over it for a long time. So, this is Charlie Kane has been... I should actually get playing, eh? Charlie Kane has been... Charlie Kane has been obsessing over the recent happenings in Arkham, which we're going to be hearing about shortly. That's going to lead him to taking some pretty fucking dramatic action, my friends. I'm going to put obsessive in my deck, and we're going to have a look at the intro. So he is... Yeah, it's wild, Crosshair. I love it. Choose your investigators, blah, blah, blah. We're playing on standard. Intro 1. The dark stifles. Oh, sorry, this is the prologue, Riddles and Rain. The dark stifles. It moves like a living creature, constricts the air as if you were inside a shapeless cocoon, a figment of your anxious and overactive imagination, you hope. But everything about this meeting puts your nerves on edge. You almost didn't accept the mysterious invitation, but recent events have forced your hand. Exactly, Roger Twy. My God, I got so many votes in the last election, but people don't like me anymore. Is there fraud? Is someone committing fraud? Badang. You almost didn't accept the mysterious invitation, but recent events have forced your hand. It's been several months since the disappearances began, and all of your leads in Arkham have dried up. It started in the winter of 1924 with several vehicles in Southside. 2 Studebakers, a Cadillac, and a Rolls-Royce. All of them top of the line. No Qatar. One moment they were there, the next, nothing, save for a single deflated wheel. The police believed it to be the work of bootleggers looking for more vehicles to add to their routes, but the cars were too nice. They would draw too much attention. Perhaps they were taken down to Boston or New York and flipped for a pretty penny, and that's just what you figured had happened until the disappearances continued. Point of fact, one of the Studebakers was Charlie Kane's. So he's got a personal investment in the car. Next to go was a street lamp outside the Ward Theater in downtown. Then 2 pets, a dog and a cat, whisked away almost simultaneously right out from under the owners' noses, not 2 doors down from one another. You learned the news when you saw the missing posters plastered all over College Street. On a whim, you interviewed the owners. Not on a whim. Charlie wants to know what's going on in the lives of his constituents. No sign of foul play, and it was unlikely for them to have run away. Something stank about all of it. Then people started to disappear. A child from Easttown, a student at Miskatonic University, the chief of Arkham's fire department. Sorry everyone, that was loud. That's obviously really bad for Charlie. And as the police closed each case with no clues or suspects, a curious thing began to happen. One by one, as time marched on, the things that went missing vanished not only from Arkham, but from memory. The owners of those vehicles suddenly claimed to have never owned them. The pets, the people, all of them were wiped from the memories of every single person in town. Everyone but you. You, and you alone, remembered. Perhaps it was simply the way of things. Humans are fickle and forgetful by nature, but it couldn't be so simple. It was just too strange. Coincidental. That's when the letter arrived. Greetings. I hope this letter finds you well. You do not know me, but I know you. I cannot tell you much through paper correspondence as it may be intercepted. Suffice it to say that I know of the matters you're looking into, and I also know that you believe yourself to be alone in your investigation. The truth is, you are not alone. Such events are not unique to your city of Arkham. What you have observed is happening in major cities all over the world. I am one of those, like you, who seeks the truth, who remembers. There is another related matter which I must bring to your attention. I need your help, and you need mine. Enclosed is a ticket to a show at the Riverview Theater. If you wish to know more, please meet me there, and we can speak further. Come alone. In truth, Lee Flint, which of course I'm reading as Le Flirt. That's how I read this, as Le Flirt. Seriously. Very, very cool, though. Of course Charlie would be obsessed with this matter. It's only a matter of time before, well, perhaps he disappears, selfishly. Or perhaps enough of his constituents disappear that the whole town of Arkham just simply vanishes from memory. And he is the defender of the city. Hello, La Flirt. The ticket in the envelope was indeed for a private showing at Arkham's new movie palace in downtown. Movie palace. With no other leads, and no good reason to avoid going, you've decided to accept the mysterious invitation. Intro 2. Just as you're beginning... Yes, just as you're beginning to suspect that you've been played, you see a shadow approaching from the aisle. The figure spots you at once, sliding into the seat in front of you. He wears wide, horn-rimmed glasses and a high-collared jacket over a silk vest. I hope so, Roger Twy. Fingers crossed. His brown hair is cut short and parted to one side, and he sports a handsome, neatly trimmed beard. To your relief, no other figures emerge from the shadows. You ask if you're speaking to Lee Flint, earning a slight nod from the man in front of you. He does not turn to speak, instead letting his voice carry softly over the silent images. "Indeed," he says. "Inspector Lee Flint with the International Criminal Police Commission. And I'm sure you have a great many questions, but we're unfortunately short on time. Doubly so if you're working alone. Prudent, however. You should trust no one, given the circumstances. Not even me." Skip to Intro 5. This is Lee Flint, the dashing, debonair, I don't know, what did he say? International Criminal Police Commission? Sure, Lee, I'm sure that's a real thing. Flint produces a file fat with documentation and slides it between the two seat cushions in front of you. Inside is a wealth of information regarding cases similar to the ones you've been investigating. Photos of vehicles, factory machines, public figures, all missing, all forgotten. Just as Flint's letter promised, the file includes reports from all over the world. London, Shanghai, Bruges, Rio, Cairo, the list goes on and on. "There's more," he says after giving you time to read. "Flip to the end." You would hear correctly, Roger Twy. I do enjoy a good fat file. Oh boy. You flip to the end, and what greets you are two photographs clipped together. The first is of a street in London, distorted by some sort of interference. A light shines above the street corner, and around it the picture appears to be pinched, like a miniature vortex is pulling reality toward it. The other is a photograph of a man on the other side of that same street corner. I'm pre-making a poll. There we go. The other is a photograph of a man on the other side of that same street corner, ducking into the shadows. I can't do both at once. I'm just going to read it. He wears a tailored gray suit and a wide-brimmed hat that obscures his face. The only discernible detail you can make out from the photo is the man's distinctive red gloves. Rare as it is for a photograph to have color, you wonder if the long exposure time is what led to the strange blurring effect. "This was taken by my partner several days ago, just before he, too, vanished. Whatever's going on, you can be sure that the man with the red gloves is somehow involved." Getting to the point, you ask Inspector Flint what exactly he wants from you. "To work together, share what we know. Sparingly few seem to know the truth." You agree. If what the man says is true, and events like this are happening all over the world, getting to the bottom of it will require more than just you. "To that end, I'd ask that you come to London with me. The man in the red gloves has been sighted in the area, and he's not alone. I'd bet good money that he knows something about where my partner is. Arrangements have already been made. There are steamship tickets in that file. Ship departs from Boston in 2 days." The investigators must decide. Take his offer, so go with Flint, or go to London on your own terms. I'm going to start a poll here, team. This is !vote 0 or 1. I'm curious what people think. Good evening, Cthulhu. I'm so sorry I had the chat. Oh, no worries. Thumbs up. If you can, well, you can't hear me, I suppose, but I just wanted to greet you, Cthulhu. Cthulhu. We're just starting, of course. Charlie Kane drew obsessive as a basic weakness. We'll see how that goes. It's also an enchanted dude. Uh-oh. We're deciding whether we want to trust Lee or not. I'm feeling it, team. Go to London on your own terms. You take the file, but do not follow Inspector Flint's request. After all, you've only just met the man. Leave him behind. Pew pew. After all, you've only just met the man and you're not sure what to believe. If events are as dire as he says, you've taken enough of a risk already in speaking with him directly. Instead of departing from Boston, you find passage on an Ocean liner headed for Plymouth, then hitch a bus ride to London. It takes quite a while longer, but at least you know you haven't been tailed by Flint or by an associate of this red-gloved man. Exactly, Crosshair. He's gonna work with as many people as possible, but Charlie is keeping his connections as a web, right? He's at the center of it, like a spider, I guess. He's coordinating. He's not being coordinated. Deception breeds uncertainty. Remove a tablet and add an elder thing. That sounds bad. This token can later be removed through an act of trust. However, you may become stronger if you stick to your convictions. So, let us remove a tablet. I removed the wrong thing. And we're adding an elder thing. Probably pretty bad news. Read the rules for tracking time. Mark to time in your campaign log, then proceed to setup. So, hey, exactly, Flower. So if we double down on being independent, something good might happen. But if we have an act of trust, we can remove that Elder Thing token again at some point. We'll see, apparently. So throughout the campaign, tracking the passage of time is crucial. As time marches on, paranormal events will grow more and more dangerous. Machinations beyond your understanding will progress. When you're instructed to mark one or more time, fill in that many boxes under time passed. Huh. Cthulhu, me too. I think it's a little poor, but I'm kind of excited. If you fill in a box that has a symbol in the form of a Greek letter, proceed to the status report section of the campaign guide on page 69. Nice. Find the status report matching that letter and read the text that follows. Cool. So, here's everything. There's different scenarios, keys, campaign notes, Charlie Kane. Time passed, 1-2. Okay. Now, I don't know what's going on with this calendar business, but 35 time has an omega. Omega being the Greek letter, the last Greek letter of the alphabet, generally standing for end. So I think we don't want to get to 35. So I think we're gonna keep careful track of time. So now we're in London. Set up, gather some stuff, blah blah blah. Set some things outside. We start at the rainy streets, rainy London streets. Put some stuff, blah blah blah. You're ready to begin. Bon. Here we are at the rainy London streets. Cold rain pelts the dreary streets in a rhythmic pitter-patter. Despite the hour, the square is bustling with automobiles. Hey, it's the art from behind me. Despite the hour, the square is bustling with automobiles, carriages, and pedestrians. Somewhere in this crowded city is the man you seek, or are you already too late? Guys, I'm pretty jazzed. Just gonna save. Agenda 1A. When it rains. Arriving in London, you patiently await your contact, but none arrives. Inspector Flint, or one of his proxies, was supposed to meet you at a quiet tea house tucked away in a narrow storefront just outside Trafalgar Square. Wondering what could have gone wrong, and suspecting the worst, you set off to investigate. Forced, when this agenda advances, move all doom on it to the next agenda. To doom. Yes, Crosshair, I am thrilled. I think I appreciate the fact that the game is really like trying new shit, you know? Whether it will be successful or not, we'll have to see. But the mayor of Arkham becoming sort of like some sort of agent to combat chaos that's happening all over the world, and he's using his connections to do so, I think that's pretty cool. Act 1A, Clues and Capers. Exactly, Flower. Bing, bang, boggin. Bing, bang, boom. You draw your umbrella closer, using it to obscure your identity. No one will ever be able to tell who I am, the mayor of Arkham, Massachusetts, here in London. Each person you pass on the street could be your contact, or be out to get you. Objective, as a group, spend the requisite number of clues to advance. Before the agenda advances, we have 2 turns to get 2 clues. Tokens. Skull, -1, -3 if you have 2 or more clues. Okay. That's correct, Flower. It's a bit of an inside joke from Disconcordia, which was the Discord changeling server that we were running as part of RPG Clinic for a while, which is now sadly ended, but lives on in our hearts forever. Tablets, removed from the bag, baby. Elder Things, -3. Shit. Oh, sorry, I should say, Boggans are a type of changeling in, well, the lore around the fair folk. They're sort of halfling-esque. They love to do chores and shit. Rumpelstiltskin would be a Boggan, in my mind, anyway. They're usually helpful, though, as opposed to shitty. They're more like fucking halflings, sorry. Not halflings. Yes, halflings, but more specifically, Lord of the Rings, hobbits, there we go. Okay, weirdness. Hope to see you later. Arkham, Gav, what's that? Oh, some kind of loony bin for the folks dressed as bats. Yeah, seriously. Elder Thing, -3. If you fail, either spend a clue or place a doom on an enemy in the shadows. There you go, Flower. That is why you want to uncover enemies in the shadows. I mean, it's one of the reasons. Super nannies and chimney sweeps. All right. I think that's it, guys. 2 turns to get 2 clues. I think it's about that time. Let us save, and then let's draw our opening hands. Let's get doomed. Okay. 3 allies. We love it. Bonnie Walsh, who is Charlie's signature ally asset. The best. I have said... Oh, sorry, Cthulhu. Yes, I have said one thing. I chose Guardian and Rogue to represent Charlie's 2 sides of his personality. Although this is a very rogue-heavy hand. But on the one hand, he's the defender of Arkham. You know, he's... Oh, actually, someone might need to transcribe that for Cthulhu, because I'm not sure. You said you were listening on mute. Anyway, Guardian and Rogue. Guardian being the sort of defender of Arkham, and Rogue being the Underworld Connections side. I like Gregory Gry, I like Bonnie Walsh, I love Leo, and I like Hit and Run. I really like Hit and Run, actually. So I'm going to keep 1. Thank you, Crosshair. And I really want to get Leo down, but I need money, so I'm going to just do that. What a shit hand. All right, fine. Who cares? It's fine. Here we go. So, Hit and Run. Hit and Run is a rogue event from Scarlet Keys. Fast, 1 cost, put an ally asset from your hand into play. At the end of your turn, if it's still in play, return it to your hand. I know, Flower. Well, just a few anyway. Impeccable timing, Mr. Fergus. The person depicted on the art is Chuck Fergus, the driver, who is obviously showing up to a hit and run, which is pretty sweet. Okay. Okay. I'm thinking I have a pretty good first turn set up here, so let's have a look. Exactly, Crosshair. Actually, Crosshair, before I even look at that, yes, this is a great Leo card as well. It's a great rogue card in general, but it's a great Leo card. It's fast, which means it doesn't provoke an attack of opportunity. If you don't kill the ally, it comes back to hand. And you put an ally into play for 1, which is great, generally. Rainy London Streets gains plus X Shroud. X is the current act, so it is 2 Shroud and 2 clues. Forced, if there are no clues on it, add clues until it has clues. Very good, Roger Twy. There's an action here to resign. Oh, we should wait for Inspector Flint. Fuck you. Charlie Kane doesn't wait. Charlie Kane smokes cigars. Sorry, Charlie Kane smokes cigars and gets shit done, and he's not quite out of cigars, but he's definitely getting shit done. I vote we wait. Perfect. Yes. Not sure if you would gain... Yeah, I'm not sure. Okay. Charlie Kane has with him one of his... Leo, give action. That would... Yes, Flower. It would be good, wouldn't it? Charlie Kane, of course, never travels anywhere without his assistant. Bonnie Walsh, who has been working with him for 20 plus years at this point. She knows everything about his schedule, his life, his proclivities, and what he needs in any given moment. Bonnie Walsh costs 3, she got 2 health and 2 sanity, and she says, "Don't forget you have a 9 p.m. appointment with Mr. Sanford. Shall I book your usual table at La Bella Luna? Also, you bought me a wristwatch for my birthday. Thank you very much." That's flavor text. Okay, she's got 2 wild icons, and she says, after you exhaust Bonnie Walsh, ready another ally asset you control once per round. Let's break this down. During a skill test, I can exhaust Bonnie Walsh for +3 to a stat. If I do, I ready another ally, who I may have already exhausted for the bonus. Let's see this in action, shall we? Yeah, I mean, it's gonna be good. How's my music sitch? Is it still playing? Yeah. Just turn it up a bit. Too loud? Y'all will let me know. Charlie Kane sitting in this strange cafe with Bonnie Walsh. That's actually a great point, Flower. Let's say 10. She does look pretty young, doesn't she? I don't know. She's wearing sweet gloves. No, he gives an action when he arrives, Crosshair, absolutely. Thing is, I'd love to get some double duty out of this muckraker, Gregory Gry. So yes, Crosshair, you are correct. Hit and run on Leo DeLuca would give you an action. For one, you paying a resource for an action. Pretty good. But I have an idea, a slightly different idea, which involves this guy, Mr. Gregory Gry. So, sitting in this small tea shop in London, Charlie Kane knows that he is near the site of the strange distortion, the photo that was taken in this London street. He's getting ready to move. He looks at Bonnie and just sort of says, "Hang on, don't we have a contact in this region? Someone who knows kind of the underworld? He's like, I need to know who the major kind of underworld players are around here." She rolls her eyes and provides him a list. "Yes, of course, sir. I know someone who can help." Gregory Gry, baby. Gregory Gry is a muckraker, so he gambles, but he gathers dirt on people. Excuse me, 1 health, 2 sanity. Remember that Charlie has 4 ally slots by default, so this doesn't boot Bonnie Walsh out. He uses 9 resources. Long before he was ever dealt his first hand, the boy was able to stare a man down and discern the meaning behind his bets. Reaction. When you initiate a skill test, spend up to 3 resources from Gregory Gry. If this test succeeds by at least that amount, gain that many resources. I love it. Charlie sends Bonnie off to gain information from Gregory Gry as he begins to search the area around the tea shops, looking specifically for the location where the photograph was taken, but also for a sketchy pub where you can maybe find a bit more information. I'm going to investigate my location. I have 1 intellect. I'm going to I'm initiating a skill test. I'm going to spend 3 resources from Gregory Gry. Fingers fucking crossed here, team. Maybe just 2. No need to I'm gonna get a little greedy. I'm gonna exhaust Gregory Gry to give myself +2 book. I'm gonna exhaust Bonnie Walsh to give me +3 book. It readies Gregory Gry. I'm gonna exhaust Gregory Gry again to get +2 book. It gets insane, guys. Exactly, Flower. Gambling, fraud, money from overseas, and he launders it through his campaign. So, 1 intellect. Well, it says when you initiate a skill test, spend up to 3. So it doesn't exhaust him, which is good, but it appears to be 1 per test, but that's okay. So I'm testing at 1 intellect, +2, +3, +2, which, if my math is correct, is 3, 6, 8 to 2. And I've spent 3 resources. 8 to 2. Oh, baby. He has to deal with the Nevada Gaming Commission. Thank you, Cthulhu. Yes, I re-tapped with Bonnie Walsh. Maybe I shouldn't have. Elder Sign, +3, ready an ally asset at your location. I'll take 3 resources from Gregory Gry. Thank you very much, and I'll gain a clue. This is gonna be good. It's gonna be good. Uh-oh. Charlie Kane strikes pay dirt almost immediately. Gregory Gry, one of his contacts from Arkham, points him in the direction, with a couple of phone calls, points him in the direction of another gambling house in London, where he immediately starts rubbing elbows with some of the city's most important underworld characters. Let us investigate again. Yeah, I'm going to investigate again. Younger symbol, right, of course. Very good. Okay. I do, Flower. Thank you for asking. I played Bonnie. Hit and run is fast. And I investigated. It's just 2 actions. Baby, got a 3rd action coming at you. Nice and hot. I'm going to investigate this location again. I'm going to spend 2 resources this time. No, it's 3, because it's free, right? Like, it was basically free. I'm going to leave them right there to remind myself. Again, I'm investigating at 1 intellect to 2 shroud. I'm going to exhaust Bonnie, which readies Gry, which I'll then hit him again. So, +3, +2, +5, 7 to 2. Three resources. Now, I will say this is a pretty wild start, guys. This is not usually how things go for me in general. I will take the clue. It's the end of my turn, so I don't really want to advance right away. I will advance at the beginning of next turn. In speaking with some of the people at the club, there are... Cthulhu! Thank you, great question. Once per round, thank you very much, Cthulhu. Okay, so I wouldn't have exhausted Gregory Gry. Sorry, he was... Right, he was already tapped. I got +3, which put me up to 4. So it's still a success, but I didn't pass by 2. I didn't pass by 3, rather. Thank you very much, Cthulhu. I actually really appreciate that, because I kind of forgot. Elder Sign Bonnie Walsh, pretty strong if it was not once per round. So there you go. But I would definitely have... Oh! Crosshair, yes! Wolverine, Wave, Galactus, Spider-Man. Yuck. Sorry, Galactus into Spider-Man is so yucky. Recently, Crosshair had someone... we had 2... the location that doesn't... that says reveal no cards. I can't remember what it's called now. But we got 1 and then it transformed into it again the next turn. So I had 2 turns where I couldn't reveal. They played a Green Goblin and a Hobgoblin. So they both came to my side, and then it revealed a Galactus. And I was like, well, like, what the fuck is this garbage? Just so stupid. Right away, Flower. 2 more clues going on the rainy streets. Charlie Kane's has to, you know, he has to spend some money in this gambling den of vice. But he is certainly able to discern right away that the red-gloved figure is someone who has been seen around London. Nobody seems to know what his involvement is in the criminal underworld, but people have seen him, and they direct him to a specific street corner where he is known to have been sighted a few times. Ooh! No, Crosshair. Love a good snap. Okay. Investigation phase over. Finally. No enemies, so we upkeep. We ready... Hit and run says Gregory Gry comes back to hand at the end of my turn. Yep, the end of my turn, so he comes back to hand. Donkey Bridge. Donkey Bridge. But we still have... so we're back up to 5 resources, and we managed to... I know, Roger, he sure does. Thing is, I really want to play Leo DeLuca. Oh, that's hilarious, Crosshair. I assumed you meant, like... Because, yeah, we also, in English, we call donkeys asses quite often. I thought you just meant, like, an ass bridge. I don't know. Okay, Charlie Kane. He's investigated the gambling den. He's found everything he needs to know. He's headed straight for the hideout of one red-gloved man. One doom goes on the agenda, and we draw our encounter card, our first encounter card of the campaign. Knives in the Dark. Oh shit, knives. Oh shit, Knives in the Dark. Oh, he's so squishy. Put Knives in the Dark into play in your threat area, if there is no copy of it in your threat area. Forced. Here you go, Flower. The tension between exposing mini cards and not. Forced. After you expose a decoy, take 2 damage. Limit once per round. Forced. At the end of your turn, test Agility 3. If you succeed, discard Knives in the Dark. Now, excuse me, this is absolute shit, because Charlie Kane has about as much agility as bumleg Leo Anderson. Not looking good for our friend. Bonnie Walsh is pretty good at distracting people, though, so maybe she can help. We'll see. We go to the beginning of the investigation phase. I'm going to spend my clues before my turn begins and advance the act. Act 1B. Movement in the dark. You spot the figure on the other side of the street just as a bright red bus approaches. You are certain whoever was there was staring directly at you. The bus cuts a swath through the foggy street, and when it has passed, the figure is gone. Perhaps it's just your paranoia at work, but it cannot be a coincidence. It must have either been your contact or one of their foes. Perhaps even the reason they're missing. Steeling yourself for any possibility, you set off in chase. Put the set aside, Kensington Gardens, Westminster Abbey, and Big Ben. Thank you, Roger Twy. You're correct. Big Ben is the name of the bell, not the tower. It's You are correct, though. All the locations are in a big-ass stack, so I'm just going to grab the ones I need. I'm trying not to look. I'm trying not to look. Huh? It hasn't rung in 2 days. What? Big Ben, put that there, put that there. Sure, fine, okay. The mod also now allows connections to show themselves. Delish. Charlie sets off in pursuit of the figure, who may be the red-gloved man, or may be simply Lee Flint's contact? Unfortunately, the shadows are many and numerous, as is the fog here in London. The lead investigator draws the set aside, the red-gloved man, and resolves his concealed keyword. Could be Le Tigre. I mean, yeah, Flower, but like, look at these gloves. No one's wearing gloves like this. Quick point on the side here. The red-gloved man is a player card in Arkham as well. He came out ages ago. He's very good, and he costs, I think, 4 experience or 5 experience. It doesn't matter what he does. The point is, you are not allowed to take him in this campaign, specifically because he exists in at least this scenario. The red-gloved man. The only detail I could remember was his gloves. Red. Red as blood. Oh, that's cool, Crosshair. I didn't know that. I mean, terrifying. The red-gloved man is a 5/2/5 humanoid coterie elite enemy. He has Concealed 1 and Retaliate. Retaliate is interesting. So let's recall how this works. I spawn him in the shadows, because I don't know where he is. We take his mini card and 1 decoy. Yeah, shit. Merlin's going to return or some shit. Shuffle them face down, put them into play divided as evenly as possible among locations nearest to the lead investigator. So, there's only 2 of us, 2 of them, which is good. So one starts here in the streets, and the other starts in the sheets. The other's going to Big Ben, because we're talking about Big Ben. Hell yeah, Flower. I think it's 5 XP, maybe 4, I can't remember, but it's gross. Like, it's nasty. Flower, if you're at all curious, on ArkhamDB, of course, I'm sure you know you can search deck lists that feature a certain card. There's a Red Gloved Man deck that it's in Amanda Sharp, I think. You can look it up because it's going to be one of the most liked deck lists on ArkhamDB. The way you can build a certain deck is basically discard the deck, reshuffle the deck, keep going. So you can basically someone created a deck where you basically play the Red Gloved Man every turn. Disgusting. Anyway. Exactly, Crosshair. He's at Big Ben, and we're going to go find him. Okay, advance the agenda directly to 2A. Do not resolve 1B. I'm actually going to put him right there. Ooh, good question, Flower. I don't remember what the text on him says. Does he have a forced effect that says, when your turn ends, discard him? Because I bet the way it works is, I could look it up too, but I bet the way it works is, if he has a forced effect that says, discard at the end of the Mythos phase. So hit and run. At the end of your turn, he comes back to hand. Pretty good. Pretty good. Raise the base value of each of those skills to 6. There are some investigators that love having their base skills raised to 6. Disgusting. Okay, so we advance directly to Agenda 2A. Agenda 2A, figures in the fog. Your mind must be playing tricks on you. Misshapen figures dance through the dense London fog whenever the rain lets up. Are those distortions like the one in the photograph Inspector Flint showed you? Or is it your quarry hiding in the mist and the gloom? Forced, when this agenda advances, move all doom on it to the next agenda. Yeah, I think so too, Flower. We'll have to see. Act 2A. The game is afoot! Holmes? No, not Holmes. Watson, the game's afoot! You chase a shadow shrouded by night. It might as well be a needle in a haystack. But still you search, hoping for any clue that may lead you to the truth. Yes, it did indeed, Crosshair, so it still has a single doom. Just one, though, because I got very lucky last turn. Cthulhu, yes. Amanda Sharp loves him. Calvin, obviously, loves the Red Gloved Man. Just swinging at 10, swinging at 12, whatever. It's just insane. Preston, also. The game is afoot. Objective, chase down the mysterious figure before the agenda advances. If an investigator engages the Red Gloved Man, advance. Okay. After spending some time in the Den of Iniquity, the gambling den, the den of dirty things, what was I going to say? After spending some time in the gambling den of vice, there we go, Charlie Kane sees a figure on a street corner that turns and flees into the shadows. He heads off into the night, Bonnie Walsh working overtime to try to get as much information for him as she can. Thanks, Crosshair, as he sets off in pursuit of the strange figure from the photograph. Weird sound. Oh, it's from the music. I thought it was coming from outside. I heard like, twoo. Okay, I really want to put down Leo DeLuca. So, we draw a card. Pretty strong. Pretty strong. Yeah, hell yeah, Cthulhu. Decoys. After you expose a decoy, take 2 damage. Limit once per round. At the end of your turn, test agility 3. If you succeed, discard Knives in the Dark. Okay, so first action, draw. I'm not particularly happy about this, but I'm going to do it anyway, because I'm hoping I'll draw some other kind of money in a moment. Yeah, second action, resource. Third action, Leo DeLuca gives me an action. Fourth action, we're going to move to Big Ben. A fixture of the London skyline, the clock tower at the north end of the Palace of Westminster looms over the city, its face like the eye of a watchful guardian. I should explain, Leo DeLuca the eggs. Well, that's the hope, Flower. Very daring, Flower. I love it. Leo DeLuca, the Louisiana Lion, who was born in Mississippi, but Louisiana sounded better, is a 2 health, 2 sanity ally with an intellect icon, important for Charlie. And it just says, you may take an additional action during your turn. Straight up and down. Pretty strong stuff. This is, again, part of the extended network of criminals that Charlie has employed all over the world. Leo is a bit of a fixer. I mean, you can see in his art, he's actually a rum runner. But Charlie pretends not to know about that side of his business. He's actually, well, to Charlie, he's a man who makes connections all over the world and gives him a bit more time. As Charlie moves towards Big Ben, thinking he saw a figure standing in a flash of lightning at the top of the tower. Leo, if anyone was watching way back then, was also the ally of choice for our friend Stéphane Rousseau, the painter, way back in the day. Big Ben is a 4-shroud, 1-clue location with Victory 1. Free trigger. Interesting. Free trigger. Choose a concealed mini-card at Big Ben or a connecting location and test Agility 2. If you succeed, look at the revealed side of that concealed mini-card without exposing it. If you fail, take a horror. Now, I could do this. I could take this test right now, but I'm not going to because I really want to save all my boosts for this Knives in the Dark business because I just desperately want to get rid of it. Yeah, 2 damage feels like a lot of damage for Mr. I could probably deal with it. Yeah, maybe we just... Oh, did I run out of music already? Ironically enough, Crosshair, I'm going to be taking a break shortly, but not quite yet. Crosshair, I'll give you a quick sum up. Charlie Kane pulled in some of his connections to get his good friend, the Louisiana Lion, back online here. His connections working overtime. We've moved to Big Ben. Big Ben has a free trigger on it. If I test Agility 2, I can choose a concealed mini card at that location or connecting location, and I can look at it without exposing it. I think I should do this, right? I mean, I would love to get rid of Knives in the Dark, but I feel like Charlie needs to be... well... Cthulhu, yes! Leo, you've been doing a really good job for me getting information from Central and South America, but you got any more of those Havana Blacks? Havana Whites? Oh my god, Scott. Sorry. I meant Cuban cigars, but I do not know anything about Cuban cigars. Clearly. I've never smoked a cigar. Fun fact. This is correct, Flower. I think we're going to do it. It's also Agility 2. So, free trigger. Choose a concealed mini card at Big Ben and test, or a connecting location, and test Agility 2. I will choose the one at the rainy streets of London. And I'm going to test Agility 2. So, I exhaust Leo DeLuca, I get +1 Agility. I exhaust Bonnie Walsh, I get +3 Agility. It readies Leo DeLuca, and I exhaust him again to +1 Agility. So, 2, 3 is 5, 6. 6 to 2. Charlie is venturing to Big Ben. He looks up at the tower above him and realizes there's a better way to do this. He hires someone, he calls in a favor with Leo to tail the figure from back at the tea room in the streets. 6 to 2. Skull, which is -1. Leo. Leo there. No. Here. No. Again. There. And that guy just has some pink gloves. So I am going to, I've succeeded. So I'm just going to look. Next one is death. The decoy is at the rainy streets. Leo reports back dutifully that the man that he cornered in an alleyway and roughed up has nothing to do with the investigation. As he says, chuckling a little as he wipes blood from his knuckles. Success. It's now the end of my turn, which means, oh, sorry. Yeah, I did. Yeah, I looked at the field, and I didn't fail, so I don't have to do anything. Okay, great. Hey, there you go, Crosshair. I knew she'd be right about the red-gloved man. I have to test agility 3. I only have agility 1. Fuck it. Unbelievable. Elder Sign, +3. Ready an ally. I succeed. That is actually rigged. Flower, this is going much better than it has any right to, which of course means I'm going to die shortly. Don't worry about it. Okay. As... No, Crosshair. No. Agnes is very busy. I like her predictions so far. As Charlie looks up to the tower. Apparently so, Cthulhu. Well, Agnes Baker's, of course. As he looks up to the top of the tower, he realizes that he's going to have to confront the red-gloved man himself, but at least he has a few friends who have a certain degree of, defense, ways of making sure that he can be helped. Exposing this concealed mini-card will advance the act. He's an ancient one. Perfect. It's the end of my turn. No enemies. There are enemies, but they don't do anything because he's still in the shadows. Upkeep. It's less good. The burden of leadership. I tell myself it was for the greater good. Was it, Bonnie? I don't know, Mr. Kane. What do you think? Damn it, Bonnie. If you control no allies, shuffle it back into your deck. Otherwise, for each ally asset you control, either exhaust it or deal it a direct damage and a direct horror. The way this works is, if it's already exhausted, you can't choose that option for it. You have to deal it a damage and a horror. If I exhaust both of the ally assets now, they won't... I drew it an upkeep, so they won't be available to me for my whole next turn. So, unfortunately, Leo and Bonnie are taking a damage and a horror each. However, the burden of leadership is over. Charlie, trudging up the stairs, begins to think about all of the people, all of the things that he's done over his career, some of which he regrets, and realizes this is far greater than anything he's ever undertaken. This red-gloved man could be an agent of something even larger beyond himself. Yeah, exactly, Cthulhu. Oh, God, oh, you're... Mr. Kane, why? Why? Mr. Kane, I've been beaten within an inch of my life. Can I get you something for lunch? Charlie shivers with fear as he realizes that this undertaking could lead him and all of his associates to an early grave, but he also knows it is the right thing to do. This red-gloved man is the only lead he has right now into this conspiracy to make things disappear from Arkham. Of course. Greater good. We go to 2 out of 4 Doom on the agenda, and we draw an encounter card. Crypt Chill? Oh! Fucking hate Crypt Chill. Fuck! Shit! Alright, fine. It's fine. The supernatural cold threatens to freeze your soul. This is obviously the, as he ventures further up within the tower with Leo and Bonnie at his side, he begins to... Exactly, Roger. It's sort of a usual London fog, but not as delicious. He starts to shiver uncontrollably. Oh, please, Cthulhu. Holy shit. So, here's the thing. If I exhaust Leo, Bonnie, Leo again, I would go to 3-6 willpower, 6 to 4, and then I wouldn't have to just... So, if I fail, I have to discard an asset I control, which sucks. Oh, sorry. I realized the text is in the way. The text is still in the way. There you go. Totally composed, Crosshair. I do have another Leo DeLuca in hand, so it's not the worst thing in the world. So let's just go for it, right? Oh, yes. No, good question, Flower. Yes, they are. Just under the cost of the ally, under the experience pips, it says asset, which is where it would say event or skill, if it was an event or skill. Which sucks. I don't want to waste my allies on this garbage, so I'm just gonna draw a token. Yeah, I mean that would have passed if I had spent them both, but it's okay. The chill just absolutely kind of shoots through Charlie Kane, and he realizes that Leo DeLuca is no longer by his side. The man explained that he would have to take off at some point, but didn't realize it was going to be quite so soon. Now, we head back to the investigation phase. I am down one Leo DeLuca, but I still have a Bonnie Walsh, and we're about to expose the red-gloved man, but I need to take a break. So, I'm going to be back in a moment. I hope you've been enjoying the Scarlet Keys so far, this first scenario. Charlie Kane, he's killing it, and definitely look... Exactly, Flower. I got some ice cream, didn't I, Gov? Oh, shoot, lactose intolerant. Oh, I forgot. Be back in a moment, Gov. We're going to be back in a moment. I'm going to be back in a moment as well. Thanks very much, everybody. We're going to see you in just a couple of minutes back here on Doomed. Red Glove Man, what's he up to? We'll find out soon. Hello, and welcome back to Doomed. Solo playthroughs through Arkham Horror, the card game, with a focus on roleplay and storytelling. I am being a very bad Brit in this moment, because we're in the rainy streets of London. I am drinking a Quebec lager out of a can. I honestly feel like I can't be less British in this moment if I tried. I do typically prefer red beers. For anyone at home who's watching and wants to send me beer, I typically prefer like reds and ambers. Anyway, welcome back to Doomed. Wonderful to have you all with us. I will very briefly give us a quick little sum up. Charlie Kane... Whoa, this seems loud, eh? Is the music too loud? That's probably fine. Charlie Kane has been investigating mysterious disappearances of things and people in Arkham, partnered up with Inspector Lee Flint of the International Police Commission, whatever that is. He's headed to London to search for the mysterious red-gloved man, a figure seen in a photograph which proves his involvement in something otherworldly or transdimensional. By leveraging his connections with the underworld, Charlie Kane was able to pursue his target, the red-gloved man, to Big Ben, the clock, at the top of a Westminster Tower? The Palace! Sounds good. We just drew Crypt Chill, so we had to discard Leo DeLuca, which is kind of shitty, but whatever. It is what it is. I'm thinking... Battle on the tower! Battle on the tower! I'm thinking art student calling in favors. We're not going to pull another Leo, but there are other allies in the deck. I should explain what I'm doing here. Art student is an ally that discovers a clue for you. Calling in favors is an event that puts an ally back in your hand. You search the top 9 cards of your deck for another ally. You play it, reducing its cost by X. X is the cost of the ally that you returned. Pretty strong. I think that will work. Unfortunately, Leo, I only have 2 copies. One's in the bin, one's in my hand, so that's not going to be that, but I'm sure I'll find another ally. Action 1. We're going to play Art Student. Art Student discovers a clue at my location, which I will take because there's a victory point on this location, and I definitely want that. Charlie continues his ascent to the top of the tower where he saw the figure, knowing now for certain that it was not a figment of his imagination. This is... The red-gloved man is taunting him. He instructs Bonnie Walsh to put out an ad requesting information about the region, essentially requesting the involvement of Cambridge and Oxford University scholars. And, some students will eventually reply to it with information. That's how I'm going to figure out that makes sense to me. He's basically paying Bonnie to go and consult with. So the 20s. He's essentially getting Bonnie to consult with the university so that they will research and find out something, important for him about Big Ben in regards to his investigation. So that's cool. Then, second action, I'm going to pay 1 to play Calling in Favors. Operator, I'm going to need you to hang up. I'm putting Art Student back in hand, and I am searching the top 9 cards of my deck for an ally. Oh, baby. Oh, I see some good ones already. But it's going to be this one. And then shuffle, right? Done. I reduce its cost by 2, because that was the cost of Art Student. Alice Luxley. Charlie Kane realizes a little too late that the person he's going to... that the red-gloved man... all he knows about him, really, is that he's involved with this sort of strange happenings, these strange dimensional interferences. Without his criminal associates with him, he figures something a bit more official, a bit more on the... Exactly, Flower. He's paying for academics. He's paying for research. He realizes he's going to need a little bit more if he's hoping he's hoping for a little bit of backup. If he needs to take on this Red Glove Man, if he needs to bring him in, he needs a backup. Alice Luxley is a London-based Bobby or investigator. Please leave this to professionals, sir. If I find you poking around again, I will bring you in. She's a detective and police ally. She costs 4. I used Calling in Favors, so she only costs 2. You get +1 intellect. Yay! Reaction. After you discover a clue, exhaust Alice Luxley to deal a damage to an enemy at your location. What's nice about this is if there's a concealed card at your location, discover a clue, exhaust Alice Luxley, the damage would be dealt and would reveal a mini card. Very cool, I think. He calls in a few favors with Scotland Yard and calls in a few favors. He's not oh, shit, Cthulhu. Mr. Kane, I painted you a picture. Oh, that's so nice. Does that man have red gloves? The man behind me here. Does that man have red gloves? Damn it, Tabitha, who told you to paint that? He pulls some strings at Scotland Yard to get assigned to him someone he knows quite well, Alice Luxley, a patrol woman in Scotland Yard as an investigator, who knows to keep certain things off the books. Now that she's here, I think we're going to do it, team. We're going to investigate this location with the intent of exposing a mini card. It's a 4-shroud location, so we're going to see how this goes. I'm going to exhaust Alice to get +2 intellect, exhaust Bonnie to get +3, and it readies Alice again. That brings me to 7 to 4. So fuck it, I'll exhaust, I'll exhaust Alice again to go to 9. Seems good. Bursting out onto the rooftop of the massive clock at Westminster Palace, Charlie confronts a figure, long trench coat whipping in the wind, red gloves gripping a massive knife. This is the red-gloved man. So I set him aside. He spawns at my location and he immediately engages us. And we advance the act. Act 2B, the chase is on. After much toil and pursuit, you finally catch up to the figure you've been chasing. A feeling of vindication washes over you as you spot the red gloves the man wears. It was no phantom you chased. This is the one you've sought all along. You corner him in a narrow alleyway. On a roof, don't worry about it. Sheets of rain and fog masking your approach. Several more figures flank the man. A meeting, perhaps? To your surprise, he casts an Exactly, Roger. To your surprise, he casts an expressionless glance in your direction. Then, fast as a flash of lightning and gone just as swiftly, a formless shape ducks out of view. A chunk of a nearby building goes along with it. When you turn to question your quarry about what happened, they've all fled east. You inch forward and examine the partially egg-sized wall covered in an ectoplasmic substance, like the negative of an undeveloped photo. Mr. Negative, Marvel. Look at that. Set the red-gloved man aside, out of play. So, he unfortunately immediately disappears. The decoys, however, stay in play, interestingly. Although I will point out I know this is a decoy. Not yet, Flower. I mean, there might be. Shuffle the set-aside Crimson Conspiracy and Outsiders encounter sets into the deck, along with the discard pile. Well, I haven't actually seen that many cards yet, so that's good. Well, Cthulhu, I don't know how much it's going to come up, but it does feel quite nice, I have to agree with you. Near to discovering the truth now! Oh, Automata. I didn't. 2B and INS. Very good. Sorry, I didn't catch it. Advance directly to Agenda 3A. Boop. I have to actually advance to Agenda 3A. The two doom stays on the agenda. It is clear now... Agenda 3A, the connection. It is clear now that Inspector Flint's hunches were correct. The man in the red gloves is not operating alone. And whatever he's up to, it has something to do with the recent vanishings. You could wait to report what you've seen, but by then the man and his cohorts may have already put into motion whatever scheme they're planning. No, you only have one choice. You must find the man with the red gloves at all costs. Alice Luxley, investigator and detective constable for Scotland Yard, agrees. By the time she gets back to headquarters, reports it, files the proper paperwork, takes it up the chain, he'll be long gone. And this strange ectoplasmic negative substance? She doesn't quite know what to make of it. Act 3A, Eyes in the Tower. Your gaze turns eastward in the direction you last saw the man heading. Over the Tower Bridge lies the famed Tower of London, where even more eyes watch your approach, these belonging to a conspiracy of dark and brooding ravens. For what reason could he be heading there? Objective: investigators at the Tower of London may spend the requisite number of clues as a group to advance. 3 clues. I realize I didn't actually do... right. Put the set-aside Tower Bridge and Tower of London into play. Tower Bridge. Tower of London. Is that right? Tower Bridge and Tower of London. There you go. Right, okay. And we need 3 clues at the Tower of London. The Tower Bridge is a bridge that leads to the Tower of London. The main gate into the tower is locked and securely guarded. As an additional cost to enter, investigators at the Tower Bridge must spend 2 clues as a group. So we need to spend 3 clues at the Tower of London to advance the act. We also have to spend 2 clues at the bridge to, like, unlock the tower. So not great. Looks like we're gonna need clues. I have 1. But that was the end of the investigation phase. We go enemies. No enemies on the board anymore. Upkeep. Draws us a well-connected. Very not useful right now. I'm not particularly well-connected, right? Well, I'm very well-connected, but... Seeing the man in the red gloves and his cohort vanish seemingly into thin air, taking with it a whole chunk of physical building, leaving behind some sort of strange otherworldly substance? What's a man to do? Decoy making some easy money. Well, that's so Roger Twy. Leo DeLuca went and beat up the decoy, but he's still just doing his work, you know, walking around. Hey, boss told me to patrol the streets. He didn't tell me to stop. You know, I'm charging by the hour. Cthulhu? That is a good question. Set the red-gloved man aside out of play. Ooh, I think you're right. The reason I'm pausing, Cthulhu, is because... The reason I'm pausing is because if I then add another enemy that has decoys, it would shuffle up all the extra decoys and fuck you up a bit further. But you're probably right. I'm just going to check. Blah, blah, blah. Concealed enemies are not enemies. If it is the enemy's mini card, place the matching enemy in the shadows at that location. Set that mini card aside out of play. Then, if there are no other enemies in the shadows, set all remaining concealed mini cards in play aside. Thank you very much. You are correct, my friend. Thank you, Cthulhu. I wouldn't have known that. I felt like it would be much harder this way, but that felt right to me. But I appreciate the check on the rules. Charlie, now having confronted the red-gloved man and seeing the sort of strange arcane or otherworldly power he wields, is unsure what to make of the man. Eyes the Tower of London and realizes they're going to need a bit more information if they're hoping to get anywhere. The rainy streets have +X shroud, +3. Well, yeah, he's gone for now, Flower. He went to the tower, we think. Correct, Crosshair. Well, yes, Crosshair, except, here's the thing, and we'll see this when it comes up. When a new one enters play and you add extra cards, you have to shuffle them. So if there's one decoy at a location, you're like, that's a decoy for sure. But then you place another concealed mini card there, you have to fucking shuffle them up anyway. So yes, it does F you up, for sure. We go to 3 out of 9 Doom on the agenda. It's only been 3 turns now. And we draw our encounter card. File AV245 supplemental, no energy conversion observed. What happens to hollowed matter? Substance dissimulation. For each set-aside hollow you own, if there are 1 or more copies of that hollow in your play area or hand, discard those copies and take 1 damage and 1 horror. If no cards are discarded by this effect, choose a non-weakness card you control in your hand or play area and set it aside out of play as a hollow. I'm going to set aside well connected. Venturing close to the ooze, sort of ectoplasmic substance left behind by the red-gloved man, Charlie can feel him. It's a very, very, very strange feeling. He can feel himself being sapped away into, not into another reality, but simply out of this one. A part of him feels like he's forgotten a part of himself. Yeah. Damn Skippy, Crosshair. So my well-connected is now out of play, and it is a hollow. Whatever that means. Well, it means I don't have access to it, but we'll have to see from there. Now, back to us. I think we want clues. I think we want to go to the Tower Bridge. I would love some more victory points. And we seem to be doing pretty well on our Doom threshold. So, Gregory Gry would help me make money as well. So I'm thinking we rehire Gregory Gry. Oh, yep. I've also heard London Bridge can fall down sometimes. First action, Gregory Gry. Second action, move to Westminster Abbey. The Gothic Abbey near the palace is both a place of religious significance and a traditional burial site for English royals. Lights flicker in the windows as the gentle rain turns to an ominous downpour. You would not be the first to seek guidance on such hallowed ground, but you wonder what else may be at work within its aged walls. 1 shroud, 1 clue. Action parlay, choose a location and test will 1 and ask around the abbey. For each point you succeed by, look at the revealed side of a concealed mini-card at the chosen location without exposing it once per game. Not particularly useful. there are no mini cards in play at the moment. Charlie ventures out of the tower towards the Abbey, hoping that he can perhaps... yeah, Roger, I know. There's people crossing all the time, and they fucking stand around forever. I have to assume that crosswalk from the Abbey Road cover, like, I have to assume it's just not drivable anymore, because there's so many tourists who go and just, like, stand in the road. I'm going to investigate this location, though. Charlie calls in a favor again, reconnecting with Gregory Gry, hoping to find a way into the Tower of London after hours, hoping that he has more local connections. Alice is not particularly thrilled about the connections that Charlie has, but she'll let it go this once. Let's go. I want to get some resources, so I am going to investigate this one shroud location. 2, intellect. I will exhaust Alice Luxley to go up to 4 intellect. Sorry, I have to spend resources from Gregory Gry first, so I'll spend 3. I want to be at least 3 above the threshold. Sorry, more than 3. We exhaust Alice Luxley. We go to 4 intellect, because I'm at 2, plus 1 for exhausting an ally, plus 1 because there's an intellect icon on it. I will exhaust Gregory Gry to go to 6. I'm already at 6 to 1. But I will also exhaust Bonnie Walsh, which readies Alice Luxley. This puts me at 9 to 1, if my math is correct. 2, 4, 6, 9. Last action, 9 to 1. Good enough. Succeed by at least 3. Take 3 resources. Very good. Thank you, Gregory Gry. And we get the clue from the location. Asking around at the Abbey yields very little information in regards to the red-gloved man, but it does reveal a bit more about some movement of strange figures who rushed by recently. Again, no enemies on the board, so we move straight to upkeep. Where I draw a card, it's Dynamite Blast. Yeet! We will be exploding some people. That's my hope. We go to 4 out of 9 Doom, and we draw an encounter card. The Coterie Agent. Yes, Flower, I told you I had some. The Coterie Agent C, a flash of red and a fleeting shadow. This is a 1/1/1 humanoid coterie enemy. Concealed 2. So, she goes in the shadows. I take the matching coterie agent. Let's B and let's C. Bet you can't take a picture at Abbey Road. Well, there's 4 of us. Of course we can. She's concealed 2, so we take 2 decoys and shuffle them together. After Coterie Agent enters the shadows, place a doom on it. Action. When Coterie Agent is exposed, discard it. Knives is gone, Roger Twy. I took them knives out, thankfully. So we put 1 at my location, and then 2 more at the closest. They have to be at the closest locations. So 1 here, 1 at the Rainy Streets, and 1 at Big Ben. It's true, Flower. Yeah, pretty soon, I think. Well, of course, pretty soon the remaining Beatles will no longer be with us. And also, yeah, just the idea of, like, I think there's so much on that, yeah, cover album that's, like, yeah, no, I just think it's really cool. Well, this parlay action's starting to look pretty good. Oh, no, choose a location and look at the revealed side of a concealed mini card at that location. That's not as useful. I'm not even sure if I need to bother, to be honest. Interviewing people at the Abbey makes it very clear to Charlie that while the red-gloved man has probably retreated to the east as he saw, he's left someone behind. And unfortunately, Charlie can't tell exactly where that person is. and how dangerous that person will be. Any more clues? I think my best bet, though, is still to head... Ah, here's an idea. Okay. It's background to us, right? Yeah. First action. We're going to head to the rainy streets. I really want to get a clue from Kensington Gardens. I mean, sorry, if there are clues on Kensington Gardens. I bet so too, Flower. Second action, let us investigate here. I need Alice to be ready, but that's okay. I think we can do that. I'm going to investigate. This location now has 4 Shroud because it's Act 3. So I'm investigating at 2 to 4. I'm going to spend 2 from Gregory Gry this time. May I paint you, Mrs. Stranger? Police, open up! It's just a weird assortment of people. There's like a gambler. There's Charlie's assistant being like, "Ugh, God, Mr. Kane, this is so chaotic." There's a cop who's just like, "Get out of the house now! You know, get down on the ground!" You know, just insanity. I'm investigating a 4 Shroud location for a clue. I'm going to exhaust Alice to go to 4. I'm going to exhaust Gregory to go to 6. I'm going to exhaust Bonnie to go to 9, which readies Alice. 9 to 4, please. That brings us down to 6 to 4. Still succeed by 2. Gain my 2 resources from Gregory Gry. Gain a clue, and here's where it starts to get real spicy. Exhaust Alice Luxley to deal a damage to an enemy at your location, which I will, which reveals that this is a decoy. Ooh. Alice drags a young woman back towards Charlie Kane and confronts her in front of the politician and his small little group. It becomes abundantly clear that this woman knows nothing and has just decided to go for a walk in the rain with a small scarlet umbrella. Charlie realizes he's starting to become a little more, perhaps a little paranoid. So that's unfortunate. Last action, we're going to head to Kensington Gardens. The night's usually somber mood is enough to drown out even the beauty of the Royal Park. The round pond threatens to flood as the downpour continues. This place has been a popular meeting ground for many years. Perhaps the man with the red gloves and his cohorts are here? 2 Shroud, 1 clue. After you expose a decoy at Kensington Gardens, seal a horror. Forced, after you expose an enemy at Kensington Gardens, take a horror. Well, that's not good. But it is victory 1, and we do like that. I agree with Flower. A little bit of collateral damage. She's a bit shaken. She's a little scared, but she was paid off. She's not going to tell anyone, and it was for the greater good. Yeah, I do love victory. Enemy phase, the coterie agent is in the shadows, but has a doom on it. Should I put that there? There you go. Upkeep draws us an intel report. Sounds good, Crosshair. We go to the Mythos phase. I place a doom on the agenda. We're at 6 now out of 9 doom. I'm probably not going to get this coterie agent off the board in time. And we draw an encounter card. Pinch in reality. Flint, are you seeing what I'm seeing? Charlie ventures towards the gardens, thinking perhaps that he can lure some of the people... Oh, thank you, Flower. Lee Flint is the inspector we met in the prologue, the guy who came to us at the movie theater to be like, here's the info that I have so far. We're working with him, but we haven't seen him yet in London for some reason. Love the art on this, though, eh? Very cool. Not the most thematic, but very cool. Charlie is hoping to draw some of the Red Glove Man's friends down towards here so that he can double back, leave them a little confused. Instead, he is confronted by the strangest thing he has ever seen. A brief pocket where space does not seem to function as it does in the rest of the world. A small vortex hangs in the air, heavy as a ton of bricks, and yet somehow floating. twisting reality around it, pulling in color, light, sound, and memory. Peril. You must either spend a clue or choose and discard half of the non-weakness cards in your hand. Well, that's easy because I really don't want to put cards in my hand away. So I'm going to spend a clue. Took a clue. I guarantee it, Cthulhu. I guarantee it. Charlie's like, Miss Walsh? Like, what do I do? And it's back around to us. I would love this clue, and then we will continue moving towards, I guess, the Tower Bridge. I could, like, expose another decoy. I don't know. It doesn't feel very useful here. I could play Art Student. What I want to do is play Leo DeLuca. Ooh. Oh, I like it too, Flower. Thing is, it's a 2-shroud location. Ah, fuck it. That sounds good. I like that. And then, I really want Leo down too. You know what? I think we're going to be able to call in some favors soon for Art Students, so I'm going to do it. F it. Gets a clue. Charlie hires another young student from a nearby college to study the strange phenomenon a bit more closely, perhaps document it for him. Is it ethical? Not necessarily. Yeah! Cthulhu, I love it. I think I am going to do that, but I'm going to do it at the rainy London streets, baby. This is still a 4-shroud location, but I'm going to do it. We're going to I'm just going to exhaust everybody for this, so here we go. Last action. Spend 3 off Gregory Gry, because I can only spend up to 3. I am investigating a 4-shroud location, but I'm going to fucking put everything in here. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, Bonnie Walsh 2. Why not? So, plus 6, 7, 8, 9. Puts me at 11 to 4? Yep. That's a big success. We'll get 3 resources from Gregory Gry and another clue. And now I have a lot of money for things like Intel Report. Well, thankfully they all ready during upkeep. At least there's that. Charlie grins as he. I have to put more clues. Oh, 1 clue on it. Whoops! It shouldn't have had 2 clues at all. Shit. No. So when I got the last clue off of it, it would have put another clue on it. So it still had 1. So yeah, that's fine. That's fine. You can't get 2 clues off of it. Oh no, it's sorry. If there are no clues on rainy London streets, add clues until it has 1 clue. Yeah, sure. So I did. I got the clue. I left, and then now I put another clue on it. Great. Charlie grins as he starts to feel a bit more secure in the connections that he's built around him, realizing that he's not invincible, not at all. But this strange man who's retreated to the Tower of London, he doesn't stand a chance against Charlie Kane. Charlie Kane's been in this business long enough to know to take down an enemy, all you have to do is expose them, bring them up to the light of day. He's ended the careers of a lot of criminals in America. Made a lot of careers, too. And we go to upkeep. Gregory Gry. Another Gregory Gry. We'll see. We go to the Mythos phase where we place a Doom. We go to 7 out of 9 Doom. It'd be really nice to expose the decoy here, or not the decoy, but the actual card. And we draw an encounter card, Seeing Shadows. Put it into play in your threat area. After you fail a skill test at a location with a mini card, take a horror, Double action, discard Seeing Shadows. Yeah, well, exactly, Cthulhu. Yeah, now they're no longer criminals. It's a win-win. The people of Arkham win, he wins, taxpayers win, you know? No longer do I have to subsidize the police force fighting criminals. Now, the police force are the criminals. Charlie, while confident... Oh, of course, Flower. Most of them. Some are now on his payroll, a bit more legally as well. Like I said, playing a few different angles here. Charlie, while confident that he can approach the Red Glove Man, is starting to see things at the corner of his vision that he can't explain. Figures appearing and disappearing in the dark. Strange, pinched realities, vortexes. And he shudders to think what that might hold. Now the question is, do I want to try to deal with one of these things? I don't think so. We just want to get to the tower. So, we're here. First action, we're going to move in. Spanning the River Thames, the newly built Tower Bridge has quickly become a cultural icon, connecting central London with the East End, which has seen much growth in recent years. To the north, just over the bridge, a dark cloud encircles the Tower of London. Stories have been told of the prisoners who were brought to the Tower of London by barge along the River Thames. Perhaps you could follow their morbid example. 2 shroud, 1 clue, and it says, action, maybe there's another way in. Test will or intellect 5. If you succeed, put the set aside Traitor's Gate into play. I don't think I need to, though, right? I have a lot of clues. 4 clues. Mother. The Tower of London says the main gate is locked and guarded. As an additional cost, investigators at the tower must spend 2 clues as a group. I get this clue. I move in, I spend the clues, and then I'm done. I'm there. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Second action, I'm going to spend 6 to play over the art student, leaving her behind, with Leo DeLuca, giving me an additional action. Charlie Kane considers briefly if there's a way to sneak into the Tower of London and realizes some things he'll have to not do necessarily under board, but some things he can do above board. He's back. He's back with some odds and ends. Yeah, he's just hanging out. He's just back hanging out, Cthulhu, no big deal. He's found a few things. Specifically, he's found a few of the favorite foods and drinks of some of the guards of the Tower of London. Perhaps Charlie will be able to find his way in. Third of 4 actions, we're going to investigate this location, get this clue. Last action, we're going to move to the Tower of London. So, let's investigate. I'll spend the last resource off Gregory Gry. I will exhaust Alice, exhaust Leo, exhaust Gregory Gry. Like, I don't see why I wouldn't, right? But I'll leave Bonnie for some reason. This puts me up to 2, 4, 6, 8. Good lord. -1. We gain a resource from Gregory Gry, and we get the clue off the Tower Bridge. As an additional cost to enter the Tower of London, we must spend 2 clues as a group. Ah, they don't drink bourbon, of course. Of course, Charlie, he has some rum obtained from a few different sources. The best rum, the most delicious rum. But that's it, Cthulhu. They're not having any of it. They don't care. They don't want it. The Tower of London is 3 shroud, 1 clue, and it says, after you end your turn at the tower, you must either lose 2 resources, or each enemy in the shadows attacks you. No, it is not, Flower. Thank you for asking. The act says, investigators at the Tower of London may spend the requisite number of clues as a group to advance. It does not cost an action because it does not have the action indicator on it. So I think before the end of my turn, I'm going to spend the last 3 clues as a group and advance. And let's see how bad it gets. Charlie manages to, with the help of Leo, with the help of a bit of intel on the location, he manages to figure out his way past the guards. He slips a few nice scotches here and there, a few winks, a few how do you do's, and he's in. Act 3B. He's here! Quietly and cautiously, you follow the figure from a distance. With measured haste, he darts to and fro inside the ominous tower, searching for something. Excuse me. Finally, while you watch from the shadows, the man with the red gloves finds what he's looking for, a loose brick along one of the candlelit hall's many columns. He casually rotates the stone back into place with a kind of nonchalance, as if he were dealing with a piece of misplaced laundry. To your surprise, a section of the nearby wall rotates in turn, revealing a secret passageway. Secret passage! He ascends into darkness, and you follow in secret. Put the set-aside Tower Prison location into play. Attach the set-aside The Eye of Ravens to the Tower Prison, not controlled by anyone. I'll have a look at that momentarily, the Tower Prison, and whoop. So the Tower Prison is currently unrevealed. It says, what could the man with the red gloves possibly want in this place? It says, forced, when a concealed mini-card would enter play anywhere other than Tower Prison, it goes to Tower Prison. The Eye of Ravens is the macabre ruby marble. File number 5, A19, subject class yellow. Key appears as a small red marble found lodged in the eye socket of a deceased coterie operative. Ugh. Paradimensional capabilities unknown. That's all we know. Move all concealed mini-cards in play to the Tower Prison. Shit. Oh, that's bad. Here you go. So Crosshair, this is the kind of shit that happens. I've now moved 2 concealed mini-cards to Tower Bridge, and I don't know which prison, and I don't know which is which. Draw the set-aside red-gloved man and resolved his concealed keyword, putting all of those concealed mini-cards into play at the Tower Prison. The red-gloved man is concealed 1. Whenever you place new concealed mini-cards at the same location where there are some, you have to reshuffle all of them and put them in, like this. Ugh. Readily rushing the ramparts with no regard of repercussions. Really, your recklessness is not redeemable. Verily, I will be victorious. Thank you for the follow, JGist. Welcome. Welcome to Doomed, solo playthroughs through Arkham Horror, the card game with a focus on roleplay and storytelling. Charlie Kane is just at the end of the first scenario of the Scarlet Keys, Riddles and Rain. He's been doing great so far, leveraging his connections, but he's just about to find a bit of trouble figuring out where the red-gloved man could have gone in the Tower Prison. Act 4A, Caught Red-Handed. Somewhere in these forgotten crypts, the man with the red gloves is searching for something. But for what purpose? The red-gloved man gains action, parlay, test will or intellect 5 to interrogate the red-gloved man. If you succeed, place a resource on him. Objective: stop the red-gloved man from stealing the Eye of Ravens. If he is defeated, or if there are 1 resource on him, advance. It's a good question, JGist. Yeah, I'd say so, Flower. 1 in 4? Those are good gambling odds. JGist, I would love to answer that question. I'm not quite sure what you mean in terms of that. Arkham Horror, the card game, can be played solo. It can be played 1 to 4 players. I think it's a bit more fun 2 to 4 players, right, in multiplayer, but you can play solo. Thank you, Flower. That's good to know. Okay, I think I've done everything I need to do. Charlie is advancing into the prison, looking for the red-gloved man. unfortunately, I ended my turn at the Tower of London, so I either have to lose 2 resources, or each enemy in the shadows attack you. Ugh. So I would take 2 damage and 1 horror. Ooh, hang on a second. Is this as good as I think it is? Oh, baby. I think this is as good as I think it is. Let me, I just need to check something real quick here. You're probably right, Cthulhu, but I'm just gonna remind myself here. Here we go. It's specifically in here. Right, only 1 concealed mini card may be exposed per effect, unless explicitly stated. There you go. Okay. Yeah, correct. So, no. Damn it. That is unfortunate. If you had the ability to... Nope, not even. I was going to say, if you had the ability to get a clue at a connecting location and at your location, but it still says, only 1 concealed mini card may be exposed per effect, unless explicitly stated. So, no. Basically, I have to go and figure this out one by one. So, am I losing 2 resources? Yes. Wait. An action? Oh, no, I spent that action. I don't really want to take 2 damage in a horror. Although I don't mind it so much. No, it's fine. It's fine. Scruffles! Exactly. Well, that's the flower. I mean, we bribed to get in here, you know? So, enemy phase, the red-gloved man and the coterie agent sit in the shadows and wait. There is a flurry of activity in the tower, prison. Charlie is about to venture up and then down into the stone cellar as we move to upkeep. Oh, for sure, JGist. Yeah. This, if you haven't played before, Arkham Horror, the card game, is a living card game produced by, Fantasy Flight Games. There we go. I've been streaming it here on this channel for a long time. What was I going to say? Yeah, I've been playing both solo and multiplayer. This game does scale, so you can play solo or up to 4. Which I think is really cool, because this card game specifically is all about the story that's being created, the scenarios, you know, less about the sort of the mechanical interactions. Just my opinion. That's exactly it, Flower. I'm thinking a motivational speech is going to be just right for something. I don't know who I'm going to motivate, but someone's going to get motivated. Someone is going to get motivated. Let's check the wording on Scruffles, because I am curious myself. Scruffles says, when an enemy attack deals damage to Guard Dog, deal 1 damage to the attacking enemy. Oh, shit, Cthulhu. God damn. That's interesting. So this is where it gets really messed up, right? Because the enemies... Where does it say it here? Enemies are considered to be in play, but not at any location. They can qualify as the nearest enemy, but only if there's no other enemies. They cannot be damaged or leave play via player card effects. They can't be damaged. But if you deal damage at a location, you can expose a mini card. It's really weird. In other words, I guess, Crosshair, the way I see it, which is a bit of a weird way to see it, but I think this is correct. The concealed cards aren't the enemy, if that makes sense. Like, they're not... The enemies themselves strike from the shadows, and you don't know where it came from. So you can't target them in any way. By basically striking out into the shadows, by doing something to try to figure one out, you can reveal a decoy or not. Bit of a messed up sort of situation, but I'm sure it's out there if you want to get the details. Scruffles will bite the phone box. Well, that's the thing. So yeah, so I think Crosshair. It's like the again. I imagine it's in an FAQ somewhere, and I will appreciate figuring this out at some point. Well, that's hopefully not Roger Twy. Anyway, thoughts. The wording on Guard Dog is deal 1 damage to that enemy, but the problem is that enemy can't be damaged. So does the 1 damage just venture out into the void? It's a question. I tend to side with Cthulhu on this, but I'm not sure, to be honest. Anyway, the point is, Charlie Kane's looking into this prison. Yes, JGist, very good point. You got to be careful. We've got some mini cards here. We don't know who's the man, who's the coterie agent. We don't know what's going on here, but Charlie's about to get in there. What did I just do? I just upkept, right? Mythos. We go to 8 out of 9 Doom. Let me draw an encounter card. Fuck! This is another coterie agent with Concealed 2. Here's where it gets really interesting. Place a Doom on it. Coterie Agent B has 2 decoys. Which we then have to... Oh, baby. The sound of echoing footsteps in the tower prison is deafening. As Charlie realizes there are... I wonder, Cthulhu, yeah. It seems... It's so far away is the problem. And maybe I'll get lucky. Three moves? And then 3 moves back? I could just get in there and try to knock it out. That's the hope, anyway. The sound of... Oh, perfect. 5. Perfect. 5th from the top. Excellent, Crosshair. That's what I like to hear. Yes, they reshuffle again. Yeah. I did just shuffle them, right? I did, yes, because I placed 3 more, so I shuffled them. This is fine. No big deal, Roger Twy. Who knows? Where... Ah! JGist. Unfortunately, no. I also love Batman and Batman-related things. The Arkham... oh my god. Arkham Asylum in Batman is unrelated. I think that the... Bob Kane and Bill Finger, like, I think they took inspiration from the works of H.P. Lovecraft, who wrote about a town called Arkham, Massachusetts, to name Arkham Asylum. But, no, this is not related to Batman in any way. And if that's a turnoff for you, I'm so sorry. But I hope you join me, because I think this is going to be a pretty exciting finale to this scenario. Second agent, first agent, Red Glove Man. All right, Crosshair. We trust. We trust. We've got a lot of doom on the board as the agents intensify their search for something known as the Eye of Ravens. Now, of course, Charlie doesn't know this, but there are people all throughout the prison looking, searching for something. Investigation phase. 4 actions. Seeing Shadows is in play. After you fail a skill test, add a location with a concealed mini card, take a horror. Not bad right now, because I'm pretty sure we don't... I think it's okay. Like, I think we're going to be fine. First action. Let's just get in there. Let's see what the Tower Prison holds. 4 Shroud. 2 clues. Victory 1. A free trigger. Sorry, forced. Concealed cards have to go here. Fine. Excuse me. Free trigger. While an investigator at Tower Prison is performing a skill test, spend a clue. You get +2 skill value. Okay. I'm thinking, though, Alice Luxley, if we... that does make sense, doesn't it, Crosshair? Yeah, I hadn't thought of that, but of course, it's an asylum where all of the super criminals go. It would, wouldn't it? 4 Shroud, 2 clues, victory 1. I really, 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 really want the victory 1. So, we are going to go for... do I want a motivational speech Gregory Gry again? Yes. Yes! Motivational speech puts an ally into play, reducing its cost by 3. Think they bought it? They certainly do not suspect the world is ending, Mr. Kane. Charlie rallies the troops before venturing in. He sends Alice and her team of patrolmen off to scour one corner, Leo and his kind of gang of thugs another. He explains to them, they're not the kind of people who would normally work together, I know, but if you can just do this, if we can find this man, we'll expose a conspiracy. He points at Leo. I'll make you rich. He points at Alice. I'll make the best arrest of your career. And we'll be able to save the world. Third action, let's investigate this location. It's 4 Shroud. I'm going to spend 3 resources off Gregory Gry. Ooh! Uh-oh, Cthulhu. Cthulhu, if you're about to tell me I can't play over Gregory with Gregory, I'm going to be pretty pissed. But it might be a thing, so please tell me. But in the meantime, I'm going to go for it. I am going to... Here we go. Exhaust. Everybody. Alice, Leo, Gregory, Bonnie. Ready's Alice. Because I'm going to be able to do a damage. Oh no! Ah, Cthulhu. That is, you know what, honestly, Cthulhu, that is actually good to know. Is it because you can only have 1 copy by name in play, and when it comes into play, you then... So here's my theory. You can only have 1 copy of a card by name if it's unique. So if it comes into play, there are currently 2 copies of the same card. So you can't have that, so you wouldn't be able to play it. Blech. If so... There you go. Okay. Well, that's good to know. Well, then in that case, F you, Gregory Gry. I'm gonna take my cards back to hand because I am gonna keep them. So there. I'm gonna keep them for the I'm gonna keep them for the skill icons. So there. I am I'm investigating this location. It's 4 Shroud. I have 2 intellect, +2, +4, +6, +9, 11 to 4. He's got that little star next to his name, baby. Also, he's got like a proper name, so I also really love the woman behind him who's just like, ooh. 11 to 4. A skull, which is -1, I think. Yeah. Success. We get a clue. And I'm going to use Lil Miss Alice Luxley to deal a damage to an enemy at my location. Correct, Roger Twy. All right. I'm going to use the damage from Alice Luxley to reveal a mini card. So a shout as Alice confronts someone deep inside the tower prison. Okay. Coterie Agent B. Coterie Agent B is exposed and is discarded. Unfortunately, it doesn't help me with my doom threshold situation, but that's totally fine by me. Boop. Not bad, though, Crosshair, considering. Okay. I have an action left. I would love to get the other clue off this location. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to buy it with an intel report. 2 cost, discover a clue. You can make it cost more money to discover multiple clues or at connecting locations. I want to point out, intel report specifically says discover 2 clues if you pay more. That doesn't mean discover a clue and expose a mini card. It's 1 card effect. You can't do both. Super annoying. But also, I understand what they're getting at. So So I will buy this clue, and I'm going to start punching people in the shadows here pretty shortly. Got my victory point. Enemy phase. There are enemies in the shadows, but they don't attack. There is the sounds of scuffling and combat. Alice Luxley hauls a man out of the jail cell, throws him in the back of a paddy wagon, and sends him off to Scotland Yard. He was caught red-handed trying to filch something from within the Tower prison. A small, bejeweled book. Whether or not he's involved with the Red Glove Man, he is absolutely a thief. And she will be sending him up the creek. Upkeep brings me a lab assistant. Good to know. Cthulhu, I should say, if I didn't already make it clear, I do appreciate the heads up. How things work. How things work in terms of unique allies. It's very important for Charlie specifically, so... And we get to 9 out of 9 Doom, unfortunately, so the Doom on Coterie Agent goes away, and we advance the agenda. Agenda 3B. Ugh, 17 ally Leo. As the night grows deeper and the rain becomes a torrent, you flinch at every moving shadow, every sound, every shape. You wonder if perhaps this investigation is getting the best of you. Or maybe there are more of them than you thought, watching you, lying in wait for the perfect opportunity to strike. The lead investigator decides, search the encounter deck and discard pile for a Coterie Agent. Fuck no. Or everyone takes a damage and a horror. No problem! It's getting the better of me, but I'm taking a damage and a horror, and I'm putting them on Leo. I'm putting them on Gregory Gry. Is that a good idea? Yes, I'm going to kill Gregory Gry. Ouch. Yeah, no, exactly, Cthulhu. You can't do both, I think, is how I understand it. Agenda 4A, plots and panic. Deep fog blots out the moonlight, bathing the city in utter darkness. Ugh. From the rooftops, ravens watch your progress with inhuman intelligence. Every moving shadow sets your mind racing. If you don't find the man with the red gloves and stop his plans, who knows what he'll do next? Draw an encounter card. Locked door. Oh, actually, that's fine. The locked door goes on the tower. Locked door attaches to a location with the most clues. So, the Tower of London, of course, is now being locked down again. Charlie will have to worry about getting out of here later. And we go to the investigation phase. I'm thinking we expose some more cards. That's what I'm thinking. Action 1, motivational speech, Gregory Gry. I can do it now. I guess I could have lab assistanted as well. I don't really care, though. Oh, gasp! I'm pretty sure Cthulhu that... Yeah, like, again, if I... Exactly, Roger Twy, bringing the Batman theme back. Love it. So that's a question, Cthulhu, right? Like, and I don't actually remember where it falls. Breaking and entering, for example, says investigate if you succeed by 2 or more. If you succeed by 2 or more, automatically evade an enemy at your location. That, to me, is pretty clear. You get the clue, because you investigated, and you evade. But that's one card effect. Does it get you a clue and expose a mini card, or not? I'm sure there's an FAQ on the subject. Now, it's funny, Roger Twy, I just said something about Batman, but obviously that is from Watchmen, and I only am just cluing into that now. But it's a very Batman thing to say. Okay. Let's fucking do it, guys. I can exhaust a bunch of allies. But are you replacing the whole effect? That's the question. I'm sure it's in the rules. Thank you, Roger Twy. I appreciate it. Oh, was that the end of my music? It was. All right, guys, we got to finish this up. Here we go. We're gonna investigate. It doesn't count as discovering a clue, so I won't be able to Alice Luxley. 80 Sassery, hello, welcome to Doomed. Wonderful to have you with me. Us? What the hell, me? I'll give you a brief follow-up here, 80. Little catch me up. Charlie Kane, the politician, has got a little task force together. He's ventured to London in pursuit of a strange figure who might be related to strange happenings and disappearances of a transdimensional quality in Arkham. That's where we're at. We're currently trying to figure out which of these mini cards is an enemy. Ooh. Okay, action 1, Gregory Gry. Action 2, let us investigate. 3 resources from Gregory Gry. I'm thinking this will be useful at some point. Exhaust Alice and Gregory to go up to 6 to 4. We'll go Bonnie Walsh and to go to 9 to 4. Good enough. 1, 2, 3 resources from Gregory Gry. And we're going to expose a mini card. This is the one that you said was a coterie enemy? Oh my god! Crosshair! Agnes might even be the red-gloved man. So he gets put into play and immediately engages the investigator here. The red-gloved man is a 5/2/5 humanoid coterie and elite enemy. Concealed 1, fine. Retaliate. Does a damage and a horror. That's not bad at all, Crosshair. I have 2 actions left. I could try to do 2 damage. Correct, Roger Twy. The red-gloved man gains Parlay. Test Will or Intellect 5 to interrogate... perfect, Cthulhu. Thank you very much. As the Crosshair said as well. Test Will or Intellect 5 to interrogate the red-gloved man. If you succeed, place a resource on him. If there is 1 resource on him, advance. So we're doing it, team. 3rd action. 2 Intellect. 4 with Leo DeLuca. 6 with Alice Luxley. 7 by committing a lab assistant. 7 to 5. We put a resource on the red-gloved man. Venturing around a corner, Charlie comes face to face with a figure wearing that long trench, the suit impeccably buttoned, the gloves and knife gleaming in the strange moonlight coming in through the window. He gasps a little in fear and then steels himself for the interrogation he knows is to come. Crosshair, I am going to expose it just in case. Sorry, no, I'm going to advance first just in case. Act 4B, the plot is foiled. If there is a resource on the red-gloved man, the man stops and faces you, seemingly intrigued by your line of questioning, although in the darkness you cannot study his expression. Interesting, he whispers. Very interesting. His voice has a strange, uneven quality, like he is testing the tone of each word, like one unaccustomed to speaking. Add the red-gloved man to the victory display. R2. Hell yeah. Oh, the victory display calculates victory points now. Ooh, I love that. 4. That's really nice. Resolution 2, and Crosshair, I'm just going to check. Crosshair, get Agnes on the phone. I got to congratulate her myself. God damn. So these are all decoys, of course. That Agnes. Disgusting. I love it. Resolution 2. You make a show of advancing slowly and peacefully. No matter where you stand, you cannot seem to reach an angle where the light shines on this man's face. I suppose you wish to know why I'm here, the man says. Each word is pronounced with a grating, unearthly cadence. Stress falling on the wrong syllables. Long pauses punctuating each phrase. You nod. He motions to a crypt at the far end of the room. Curiosity, he threatens. The first curse in a string of curses. You approach the coffin within the crypt with trepidation. Is this a trap? There is no name or epitaph identifying the corpse buried here, only the following lines of what appears to be poetry chiseled into the lid of the coffin. With red we are bound, through red we are one. Thus in red do we bury our kin and ken. May you rest until you are needed once more. You ask the man with the red gloves what it means. He is needed once more, the man croaks. You lift the lid of the coffin. Inside is an old and forgotten corpse, likely hundreds of years old. Glinting in the dim candlelight, you spot a false ruby eye staring up at you. A gift, the man behind you says quietly. Looking away with disgust, you reach down and pull the marble out of the corpse's eye socket. Classic Charlie Kane. I'm sure it was Leo who did the actual pulling. When you turn to ask the man what the object is, he's gone, vanished into thin air like those missing before him. Only there is no mark, no ectoplasmic remains, no evidence of escaped. He simply was there, and then he was not. Before you have time to even consider where he could have gone, you hear the telltale rumbling, very good Crosshair, of the secret passageway shifting upstairs once more and the pounding of heavy footsteps down the stairwell. You arm yourself and prepare for a fight. To your surprise, it's Inspector Flint who greets you, held at gunpoint by a woman dressed in a black suit, wide-brimmed hat, and matching black trousers. She has ebony dark skin, cold eyes underscored by heavy bags, and short curly hair. 2 other suits flank her, both of whom say nothing and stand like statues as she enters the crypt. She flashes an unidentifiable silver badge and motions for you to stay put. "Where'd the man with the red gloves go?" she asks. "And who exactly are you?" "Can I put my hands down now?" Inspector Flint says. Each investigator earns Victory X, which is 4. Which is pretty good, I think. Doesn't seem like I could have done much better. Choose an investigator to be the bearer of the Eye of Ravens and update the campaign log accordingly. From now on, whenever a character becomes the bearer of a key, keep that key handy for the rest of the campaign, as it will begin play attached to that character. In your campaign log, record "You haven't seen the last of the red-gloved man," and mark a time. Okay. Add XP to characters. Right. We haven't seen the last of the red-gloved man. Whatever that means. The Eye of Ravens, the bearer is Charlie Kane. So Charlie manages to snag this strange artifact. We'll have a quick look at it now. The Eye of Ravens, as I mentioned before, is a strange small red ruby. "I'll get you next time, Kane." During a skill test at your location, the performing investigator sets their base skill value to 6. Flip this key to its unstable side. So by using it, you gain an additional power, which is amazing, but then it becomes unstable and something bad might happen to you. I do agree with Cthulhu, though. This is quite strong. I marked a time. I updated the thing. Now, we go to Interlude 1. Now, unfortunately, I think the interlude's quite long. No, we're gonna do it. We're doing the interlude. Because I want us to discuss in the Discord what happens next. "Talk," the woman commands. "I'm a detective with the ICPC," Flint barks back. "Flint, leave Flint. And you're gonna be in a lot of trouble when they hear about this." "I assure you, I will not." "And you?" she asks, glaring in your direction. You explain that you're an independent investigator working with Flint. She takes a moment to read your gaze, presumably to tell if you're lying. She, like Flint, seems low on trust. Finally, after a long baited moment, she holsters her firearm. Flint's hands drop to his side. You let out a breath that you didn't know you were holding. "We've been after that red-gloved man for quite some time. This is the first time we've gotten this close. He seems to have a knack for slipping away." She nods to the 2 suits flanking her, a tall, athletic, pale-skinned woman and a sharp, clean-shaven man, and motions towards the walls. They keep a hand on their holsters as they scour the perimeter of the room. "And who is we exactly?" Inspector Flint asks. "You've been wondering the same thing. She has a British accent, but she doesn't seem to be part of any local outfit you've heard of." She waits for the confirmation from her two subordinates before continuing. All clear, ma'am, the man states. She sighs and crosses her arm. All right, what am I to tell you? What I'm about to tell you cannot leave this room under any circumstances. Am I clear? Flint shrugs. Under penalty of what, exactly? Summary execution, she states without hesitation. Your throat closes tight. Even your partner flinches for a moment. Well then, I suppose we don't have much of a choice, do we? He glances at you. You nod. Might as well hear what she has to say. I'm Commissioner Taylor. These are Agents Hudson and Antonova. We are with the Foundation, an international agency devoted to the discovery, research, and containment of objects with paradimensional capability. What kind of baloney are you? Flint practically laughs. But the woman who calls herself Taylor shows no sign of humor. After the Great War, many treaties and accords were signed. Paris, Versailles, but keeping the peace wasn't the only goal. There were oddities, you see, during the war, things that didn't add up. Foundation's purpose is to find these things that don't add up and ensure they can't be used for such purposes ever again. Well, this is a hell of a con you buttons have cooked up, Flint says, but the darker tone in his voice indicates he doesn't even believe himself. You're inclined to agree. The fact that Commissioner Taylor even knows the red-gloved man at all is proof that she has inside knowledge. You decide it's more likely that she's telling the truth than lying, then ask what she intends to do with you. She paces in uncomfortable silence before letting out a sigh. Well, I certainly can't have your investigation running parallel to my own, and you might have information that could be pertinent to our work. So I say we work together. Work together, or work for you? Flint asks pointedly, his eyes narrowing. She allows herself a smile. You're a clever man, I'll give you that. She nods to Agent Hudson, who produces several badges, and hands them to you. You'll be your own cell at the Foundation, operating under our authority, but with independence. All you need to do is agree to report your findings to us. She locks eyes with Flint appraisingly. You'll be our point of contact. You ask Taylor what you get out of the arrangement, besides the lifted threat on your lives. We'll hand over the intel we have on the organization the Red Glove Man works for and provide travel papers that can get you anywhere in the world. No questions asked, at no expense. Flint eyes the badge like one might an explosive, turning it over and over. 2 minutes ago you were pointing a gun at me. Now you're offering me a job? Yeah. Well, you in? You pull Flint aside to speak with him in private. The discussion is short and hushed. Oh, love it, Cthulhu. The discussion is short and hushed, full of conjecture and paranoid theories about this Foundation and their true motives. But in the end, you decide to accept her offer. If it will help you get to the bottom of whatever's going on, it's the only real choice. Very well, then. The Red-Gloved Man is just one operative of this organization, or perhaps its leader. We're unable to determine. They call themselves the Red Coterie. Is this My Hero Academia? Roger Twy, killing it. They call themselves the Red Coterie, so named due to the red garments they wear. They're after artifacts scattered across the world which possess paradimensional capabilities, same kind of objects we seek to find and contain. We call them keys. You ask the Commissioner what she means by the term paradimensional. Imagine a cake with many layers. Everything we see and feel exists on one layer, but there are many more layers above and below. Something that is paradimensional exists on one layer, but draws energy from other parallel layers. As a result, these keys operate outside the laws of our dimension, cause and effect. If left unchecked, they can be used to inflict terrible harm on the world. Our job, and your new job, is to get them out of the hands of the Coterie and keep them secure in Foundation custody. If these keys are as powerful as the Foundation believes, you agree that they should be kept in safe hands. You can't help but wonder what this has to do with the disappearances you've been investigating, if anything. Flint locks eyes with you and gives you the slightest shake of the head. He has no intention of telling them. You must decide. Tell Taylor about the disappearances. Don't tell Taylor about the disappearances. Fraudation? Damn. Guys, we're not telling Taylor about the Foundation. Or the disappearances, damn it. She knows about the Foundation. I think if we stick to our convictions of trusting no one but ourselves or the people closest to us, it might just pay off. I'm going to go with don't tell Taylor. Here's the thing. Commissioner Taylor would already know. Charlie's gonna... You got it, Johnny Tight Lips. Oh, hey, which lips are we talking about here? Hey, oh. Charlie is gonna play his cards close to the chest. You shut your mouth tight. What she doesn't know can't hurt her. Commissioner Taylor tells Flint that she'll forward any relevant information to his office with some sensitive details omitted, of course. She'll also provide the ICPC with the requisite papers regarding Flint's new position. Oh, and Agent Flint, your cell may have the independence to act of their own accord, but don't forget you report directly to me. I expect you to do so without reservation should you discover anything of import. He nods, but given your reluctance, you expect he'll omit sensitive details as well. Remove a tablet. Add an elder thing. If there are already 4, each investigator earns an experience. Well, shit. There are not. I see, though. I see what's happening here. If we can get up to 4 of these things in the bag, we'll get an experience. That doesn't feel good, does it? In your campaign log, record the cell hid the truth from Taylor, and continue. We're almost done, guys. Because... Well, not because. I'll just tell you. We'll find out very shortly. The next morning, your cell... It's you and Flint. Me and Leo and Gregory and Bonnie and Alice. Your cell meets at the tea room near Trafalgar Square where you had originally intended to meet the previous night. You go over the documentation provided to Flint by this foundation. Sorry, guys. My mouth's a little sore. From what? Johnny Tight Lips. It's all a bit difficult to believe, if I'm being honest, Flint says, but everything checks out. The travel papers, the job transfer, all of it. I know, Crosshair. Whew. Not even my boss questioned it for a moment. Guess we're secret agents now, huh? You agree. Unbelievable as it might seem, it's no less strange than the matters you've already been looking into. Right, well, I think the best thing to do is split up. Shanghai is where I grew up. I have connections there I can leverage, so I'll head there first. Where you want to investigate next is up to you. Meet up with me later. We can figure out where to go from there. The Foundation has several leads concerning the whereabouts of the Red Coterie. Now, I'm not going to read all of this. I'm going to summarize the rules that have to do here. But this is another major mechanic of the campaign. I think it's the coolest one. Here it comes. Different places that have leads on the... Seriously, Cthulhu. Wild times. So, the Foundation has several leads concerning the whereabouts of the Red Coterie. Inspector Flint's home city of Shanghai, there have been rumors about the existence of a secret cabal led by a mysterious woman with a red parasol and containing a black cap. Bye, Max. In Alexandria, there's been a rash of beastly killings. A string of high-profile burglaries in Buenos Aires. A member of the coterie has a sanctum in Nairobi. The Foundation have procured the journal of a prospector working in Anchorage. A coterie agent out of Istanbul has reached out to the Foundation. Locals in Kathmandu report seeing a spirit matching the description of a coterie agent. There's tomb robberies and overgrowth in Marrakesh, Morocco. And the coterie agent has made a name for himself in Havana, where rum and illicit goods are being smuggled into the United States. So, I'll read exactly. I will read the... Well, I won't read. I'll summarize. Each sort of scenario or stopping point on the map has like a little mini intro. For example, this here, without reading the intro. You're allowed to read these little like dossiers at any time. That gives you a sense of maybe like, do I want to do this or not? Now, here's the interesting part. When you embark, you may travel wherever you wish on the map. Woo! Basically, each path you take costs 1 time. So there's a little bit of a like mini game here as to, you know, where do you want to go? What do you want to do? The stars, blue stars, represent locations that have page numbers attached to them. They might be scenarios, or they might be interludes. The red dots are secret or locked. We can't go there, but we can pass through for free. I know, right, Flower? And then there's a couple others. Yes, the green ones represent side scenarios. So like, where's a good example? New Orleans would be the Curse of the Rougarou. Arkham would be Excelsior Hotel. So they represent the sort of standalone scenarios. Each path costs 1 time. If you decide to stop at a location, you then go to that page and read the thing. It might be a scenario of Arkham, or it might not, which is why it gets a little messed up, right? Because some people sit down to play Arkham, end up going to 3 cities, and none of them are scenarios. Flower, yes, agreed. And I'm not mad at it. I am not mad at it, but it is funky. So, I'm going to leave the game here for today, because I think I want to put it on the Discord as to where people want to go next. I know what my vote is. I've seen a couple in the chat already. It feels like it's going to make sense, but I want to get everyone's, I want to get everybody's, thoughts on it before we do anything else. Roger Twig, very good. That brings us to the end of Riddles and Rain, the first scenario of the Scarlet Keys campaign, featuring Charlie Kane, the once mayor of Arkham, now Task Force co-leader in the search for some keys against the coterie. I got 4 XP, Cthulhu. Pretty good. I mean, I think there's maybe only 5 in this scenario total. Feeling pretty good. I'm going to spend my XP. I'm going to post on the Discord sometime this week about what we want to see next time on Doomed. I'm feeling pretty good about where we're going next, but we just want to know. Yes, Roger Twy, that's right. 4 XP plus the Eye of Ravens, aka the Eye of Vecna. I want to thank everybody for joining us. This has been a lot of fun. Tomorrow at 5 p.m. Eastern on RPG Clinic, 1700, of course. It's another episode of Avatar Legends The Mirror Scale. If you haven't tuned in, we do a little recap just so you can catch up. Join us, though, because we're having a great time. If you love watching RPGs, we are having a blast with this campaign. It's a lot of fun. Yes, we have to thank Agnes Baker, the Mystic, for giving us all those predictions. Thank you, Agnes. You were somehow incredibly correct. Thank you, Roger Twy, and thank you, everybody, for joining us today on Doomed. It was an absolute blast, and I am thrilled we got to do it. Me too, Flower. I hope it doesn't end in some sort of horrible doom for Charlie, but I guess we'll see. We're going to see you all next time. Take care of yourselves, be well, drink lots of water, and I guess always hunt in the shadows or consult your local mystic. See you next time on Doomed.